Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whatever time of day you're choosing to watch this, thank you for being here. I'm Jacob Avillion. I'm joined, of course, as always, by Brayden McClellan,
Hello.
and this is now the third installment of our podcast, Avillion and Brayden Talks, and we are here.
Yeah,
We are here.
latest recording session yet.
Yeah. So this video did not come out on Wednesday because today is Wednesday
Oops.
and it's almost 11 p.m. Eastern at this point. We had to
Yeah.
we had to record a bit later this week, but
Stuff happens,
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
we are here, and I will be sure to. I mean, you guys can't hear this now, but I'll be sure to upload this before the game on Thursday at the very least. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't interfere with anything else. But yeah, here we are. And
Yeah.
how you doing, man?
So I wanted to start this one off a little special. I think normally on the YouTube it's no video, it's just the one frame of the thumbnail for the whole thing, but I think for this section I think we do need to have the video in here for this. I apologize for any editing that may cause, but something serious has happened.
Something serious has happened.
Something serious has happened. We are
Talk to me.
my heart has been broken,
Uh oh.
right? I've experienced deep tragedy, okay?
Okay.
An extreme loss, if you will.
Oh no.
Um
Oh no.
I'm not doing good, okay? I just want us all to take a moment to pay our respects to Trevon Diggs, a player that gets too much hate. When I thought about the Cowboys these first 2 weeks, I thought we had a chance to have an historic defense. I really did. And I don't think I should be blamed for that thought after those 2 weeks. But this loss, I think it's tragically hurt those chances. I don't blame his injury, or I don't excuse our loss on his injury. I'll get into that in a minute, but I want to take a moment here.
R.I.P. R.I.P. his season, not R.I.P. He's okay. He's not dead. He'll be here next year. But it's
But we needed him for what we want to do. With Mike McCarthy calling plays, we might have needed a defense that scored every single week. And if there's one player on this team that can turn the ball over, that can take the ball away from the other team, it's this cornerback with the best hands of anyone else in his position. Thank you.
thank you. That's powerful. That's powerful. It was wonderful.
But yeah, I just wanted to open up with that, and then we'll get into the normal routine here with the personal check-in. So
Yeah.
how's everything going on with you, brother?
Not a whole lot going on here. In the last week or so, I took off work tomorrow because fuck work.
Mm.
No, actually, also because it's been raining all week, and I'm getting a little tired of having to ride my motorcycle to and from work in the rain. I rode in the rain this morning. I haven't had to ride in the rain on my way home yet this week. I did, I think, Friday last week or whatever. But
Mm.
um, yeah, I had to. What do you call? I left my apartment this morning, and then it started raining, so I had to stop in my apartment complex and put on my rain gear. So I was like 20 minutes late to work today, which is no big deal, right? Whatever, 20 minutes. Um, but also, speaking of work and speaking of Trayvon Diggs, there's always, a lot of guys like to banter about football.
Right.
So I had to take a late lunch earlier this week or no, actually late last week. It was Friday last week because my coworker made empanadas,
Hmm.
and so she uh, gave them all to us at noon instead of 11:30. So um, I took lunch late, and there was these other guys that usually take their lunch a little later, and they were talking about football, and then they got to talking about the Cowboys, and they said, "I heard the words, they're gonna choke. Their best defensive player just got injured," and I'm thinking like, Micah
Come
Parsons
on.
is just fine. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck what are you talking about?
And honestly, there's Diggs is probably the second best, but I think
Of
there are
probably,
arguments to
but
be had.
even then, there's other like phenomenal players on that defense, especially that pass rush. Everybody's pressure rate is ridiculous on that defensive line.
Like Osa has been putting himself in conversation for number two. Demarcus Lawrence is usually in the conversation for number two, but yeah, I mean,
Absolutely,
the conversation for one has been
settled a
over
long
with
time ago
since
since
maybe a
Micah was
couple weeks
drafted.
into Micah's. Yeah,
Yeah,
realistically, yes, but
yeah,
probably a couple weeks into
a couple
his,
weeks into his rookie year.
the conversation ended.
Yeah, well, granted, I mean, Micah's rookie year was Trayvon's breakout year.
That's
So
true. Yeah,
really,
that's what I'm
since
saying.
he's been drafted, really for the most part, because it's not like Diggs was great in his rookie season.
No,
So
and even that
yeah,
breakout year, that was the turnover one where he still gave up a bunch of yards.
yeah. Well, granted, I mean, 10 interceptions, so you can live with
Oh,
it.
he made up for it. I
Yeah, you
thought
can
that
live
he
with
was
it.
still overhated for that. But
Absolutely, because again, the impact of a turnover is just
also,
ridiculous.
there's the balance of like, yeah, he gave up the most yards than anyone, but he still has to be a certain level of good to still be on the field.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, guys who are worse than him that would have given up those yards are already taken off the field. So it's,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. They were also talking something about like Brock Purdy's problem is that he can't stay healthy, and I'm thinking like he had one freak elbow injury in the playoffs, came back and finished the game, and then was healthy for week 1 of this year.
Yeah.
What? What?
It's because he's smaller. They're just projecting.
That's well, I
They're
don't know.
like, he'll probably, it's just, they're in their mind. They're like, small. And I
I
guess
don't know.
percentage of time he's in the league, I guess
Yeah,
he's been
I
injured because
suppose.
he's barely been here. But
I think blue
yeah.
collar football fans just don't know a damn thing. That's my take.
Dog, it is crazy.
That's my
Yeah,
take.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Dude, I
my
was working
goodness.
HVAC,
Yeah.
just
Oh
the
yeah. They definitely don't know a
craziest shit.
damn
And
thing.
I'm like, bro, y'all are not watching the games. What the fuck are y'all talking
I'm
about?
totally with you, man. Like my
And it's like, you guys are the ones that people would expect to just only be like, I work, I come home, I watch
watch
football, and I beat my
football and I drink
wife.
beer.
I cheat on my wife.
Bush light.
Which I told you, the Tom McDonald fan that I worked with
Yep.
cheated on his wife. I forgot who he was a
Yep.
fan of. Oh, fuck, who was he a fan of? His brother was a Raiders fan.
Yep.
I can't remember who he was a fan of. It wasn't the Cowboys. Before anyone tries to
Yep.
put some shit onto me, or was it? I don't think so.
You better hope not.
I
But
hope not.
um.
Look, I'm the Cowboys representation on this podcast,
Yep.
and we're one for one great people.
Yep. One of one right here.
Yeah.
Braden McClellan.
On the sample size that we're studying off of, Cowboys fans are great people.
When I was living with my dad, I couldn't tell you how many times I had to explain to my next door neighbor that an ACL tear is not a career killer anymore. Like,
Yes, dude. I was having a conversation with my mom, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Mom, I'm not." She was like, "Because my mom used to be my grandpa was super into football, so she
Yeah.
heard a lot about it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Mom, I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
medicine has come a
Modern
long
medicine
way."
is like an ACL tear. You're out for a year, and then maybe it takes you an extra year to get
Yeah.
back. Now that's still a year and a half, 2 years before you're really back to form. So it's no joke. It's one of the worst injuries you can get that isn't
Yeah.
career ending. But like, I remember I think we were watching the SEC championship together. I think I was watching the game with him because I came over to his place for a couple of college football games. I know I watched. Clemson versus Ohio State, the playoff game of Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence. I know I watched that at his place, but I think we watched this game too. And he was like, I don't know. He said something when we found out Mechie tore his ACL. He was like, "Yeah, man, he might not even get drafted now." And I'm like, "No, he's got to be a day 2 pick. Like he's fine."
Yeah.
he's,
It's like, okay, yeah, he's not first round, but he's still.
well, I don't know that he was ever projected to go
I don't
first round.
remember.
Anyway, granted, maybe he would have snuck into the back because I think he was taken like 39th or 37th or something. Like he was taken in the high second, so maybe he would have gone late first had he not torn it. I don't
People
know.
go, Bama, I'll take the risk.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm excited for him to eventually start coming along. Unfortunately, though, Tank Dell seems to have taken that slot job comfortably, but we'll get
I
into that
cannot
later.
wait to talk about fantasy.
We'll get into that later. But oh, speaking of, I like again with the blue collar football fans not knowing a damn thing. Somebody in a fantasy league that a friend of mine who's in a fantasy league was trying to trade Justin Jefferson for like Tank Dell and a bunch of other players, right? And people in the league were trying to veto the trade because they didn't know who Tank Dell was. like they were trying to veto the trade just because they were unfamiliar with a player who, by the way, was also an early second round pick just this last
Yeah.
season and is playing out of his mind so far to start the
Yeah,
year.
I knew about Tank Dell because I listened to the main PFF podcast. Sometimes I tune in periodically, and one of the guys there, huge Tank Dell fan.
Yeah.
And he's one of the reasons I was able to pick up Tank Dell before he like really blew up because I was like, I need to add somebody. Fuck it, I heard about him from this guy. I'll add him, and
Yeah.
it's been great. I had him starting. I had him starting last week.
Hell yeah, man.
We'll talk later about that. But I guess for my part of the personal check-in, I'll just inform the people here that you guys never see me, so you can't tell, but I'm in a different spot. I'm only about an hour out of where I usually am, but I'm at my grandparents. They're out of town, so I'm watching the goats, donkeys, and their dog out here. Brought my own
yeah,
dog
brother.
with me, and he
Oh,
fucking
Dirkio's
loves. Oh yeah, I can see him right there. But yeah, he likes to herd the goats out here.
Yeah.
He's had to learn his lessons that
He
he
is a
can't herd the
shepherd.
donkeys.
He is a shepherd. It's in his
Yeah.
blood.
It is. It is. I thought he would just be bad at it, but then he just immediately was getting these goats into a
it's
perfect
instinctual,
circle.
man. He knows what
I
he's
thought
doing.
I figured he would try, but
Yeah.
I look at him. He's kind of goofy.
He's a
little
natural, man.
derpy Dirk, but then he gets out there and the goats just start lining up in a perfect circle.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
put even just one goat around my cat, he folds probably. I'd imagine he'd be scared shitless. I don't know. He's
Probably,
scared
as he
of damn
should.
near
Just
everything.
if he looks at the size, it'd be reasonable for him to be scared.
Yeah. He was scared of me when I would come home from work for like the first almost month that I had him, just because it just takes him a while. But
Yeah. I'm still working on getting the donkeys to stop. They're not scared of me, but they
Yeah.
just don't like me. Well, the adult donkeys are like don't like me. The babies love me, and when they get big enough, I will ride them.
hell yeah, brother.
But the adult ones, I'm just I have come a long way. They actually let me around them now, and I can like kind of pet their face a little bit, but we're working on it.
I'm working on it. Hell yeah.
But it's great. I love the drive over here. It's just super chill, hilly, nice views. Although I'll just say this: driving at night, like by myself, my head goes into like some dark places. Like,
I'm with you.
I'm not gonna lie. I started like just kind of crying on the ride up here. I was just like, just thinking about some things.
Yep.
Yeah,
I hear you, man.
but hopefully the ride back will be better.
I hope so too. Are you riding
Yeah.
back in the morning or in the afternoon, evening?
It'll
When are you
be
riding
a couple of days. I'm not sure what time they get here,
back? Okay.
what time of day. but
Probably
yeah,
late afternoon, early evening, or whatever.
maybe. I really don't. I'm just chilling. They're paying me to be out here because since I'm
Right.
like I actually am doing stuff. I'm not just here.
Yeah.
I gotta deal with the animals, the plants out here. But yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Damn, that
Am I going to
bicep pop?
town?
That bicep pop. God damn.
Oh, dude. I
Goddamn.
fucking need to buy more shirts that are like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
Also, because you guys, okay, again, I hate to be talking all this visual stuff because you guys can't see me, but I got that farmer's tan heavy.
Yeah, I see it.
Jacob can testify to
I
this.
see it.
And let's try to cancel that out a little bit.
Yep.
I need to just be walking shirtless out here.
That's
what I
is
really
for
should
real
just be
what
doing.
you should be doing. You're by yourself. Who cares?
Yeah, but it's just I always feel so exposed and like shirtless. And I remember, I guess this is still like ingrained in me from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I guess I was a little chubbier as a kid, and anytime at the pool was a fucking nightmare. Like being shirtless. I still don't like to go to like pools and beaches. I still don't like to be shirtless in public in any way. I just feel super uncomfortable
I'm with you.
because I remember feeling so insecure back then, and it's like I don't know.
I hear
But
you.
yeah, that's probably one of the more common like insecurities for guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like and like the reasoning as well, not just the thing itself, but like the cause of it, the genesis of it.
Yeah.
Being the kid in you've got the
Kid at
the
the
swim
pool.
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old swim shirt, and you're always like popping it off, like doing one of these.
That's what I was doing on my motorcycle before I had my rain gear. In the rain, if it was pouring rain, I stopped at a light and I had to like peel my shirt off my skin because
Yeah.
it was that I was soaked. I hate Florida, man.
Yeah. For me, I always hate my chest. Like it just feels like I don't know, like they're not quite boobs, but just like near the like I just have like body heavy tits.
Yeah, I hear you because I have the same problem.
Yeah.
as far as
I
like
keep
the
I keep going hard on chest day, hoping it'll eventually just turn into a good size, a good pec that I could feel proud of. But it's
yep.
just like, nah, not there yet.
Do you
This next bulk, I'll go crazy.
do you do like a decline bench at all?
I did it last time. I haven't done it in a while, but I did do them last time, and I might start
I was gonna say because
doing
I
them
think
more.
that might help with like because like building your like the underside of your
Mm.
chest might help with that feeling.
I
Um,
used to just do flat, incline, and decline. I would just do all three, and I
yeah,
might start doing that again.
yeah. I need to
Yeah.
get back in the gym. Period. It's been a minute for me, but
I've been pretty consistent. I've started doing a new split, and it's more targeted for overall physical ability and health. It'll
yeah.
be like first day is just a full body calisthenics day.
Okay.
Second day is like running. Third is like normal bodybuilding,
Yeah.
chest and triceps. Then fourth is like a jump day where I work on like quarter squats, jumping with weights, just trying to jump higher.
Okay.
And then day five is back and buys. And then day six is legs, and then day seven is just a rest day.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Gotta have at least one of those. So
at
that's
least.
good.
And I think with some of the stuff I do, I like it's not like I'm just doing high intensity weight training, so I
Right.
need as many rest days. I have other
Right.
stuff in there that it's like I'm still exerting, but it's
Right.
not
But it's
to that degree.
calisthenics and running and whatnot. Yeah, like you said, not everything you're doing is like, those
Yeah.
guys that like will hit chest 3 times a week. Like those guys
Yeah.
need 2 rest days
Yeah.
because
Also, I
that's
mean,
absurd.
I empathize with them because like we just talked about my insecurities with my chest. It's definitely my chest is definitely my biggest physical insecurity. So I
Yep.
am like maybe I should just go fucking just increase the volume, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I remember
We'll
when I
see.
started hitting chest twice a week. Back before I was doing like the push pull leg splits,
Hmm.
I was just doing. I don't remember exactly how I was going, but I know I started
What's
hitting.
not sore?
Yeah, basically what's not sore
Yeah.
because I was doing it all the time. But like, um, I made a conscious effort to always do chest at least twice a week because
Mm,
and like full on chest, like an hour and a half session of just chest
yeah.
because I was like, dude, I'm not like it was mostly just with the weight, like, when I was doing back, like I could see it going up, the numbers going up every time I was doing an exercise, like I was
Hmm.
pulling more weight. But when it came to chest, like my bench took so long to progress, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? So like
Yeah.
I I really struggled with that. So I started. I think my max ever is 185. I think I did one rep of 185,
Mm,
and then, but I for sure couldn't do that now. Um, I don't know. I'll have to get back into it because I miss
yeah.
it. There's a crunch on the way home, like right between work and home for
Mm.
me. So I should get a membership there, so I
I'm
can just
just
hit
I'm
it on the
just
way home.
lucky. I'm just lucky that I have like and I mean I also have paid for most of it, but I have like garage gym stuff.
Yep.
So it's just at home. But yeah, I mean I have done 225. I did hit 225 on bench and that was oh, pure joy. I haven't maxed out in a while
Yep.
cuz I work out by myself alone in a garage and it's terrifying.
Yep.
And I've gotten stuck under the bar, not on a one rep max, but I have been stuck under the bar,
Yep.
and it is scary. So I try not to. That's another thing that I think holds me back in some of the training is because
Yep.
I'm not going as hard as I probably could since I'm just
Yeah.
by myself. But
The
I'm not like
only
stressing over it.
the only max I've ever failed was the first time I tried benching 185, and I was in a gym like, and it was relatively crowded, but nobody saw, so I had to like do this and move it over. And,
Yeah, I had like a
yeah,
a red mark across my my
yeah,
uh my chest from the bar.
yep.
Yeah, not fun. But it's also really not fun? Your
What
football team losing, which is something.
first time this season it's
Yeah,
happened to
we
us
both
both.
experienced.
Yep.
We went from my team winning and your team losing to both our teams winning
And now
to now
both
both.
our teams
So
losing. So
I'm
next
terrified that next
this
week
upcoming week we're
I'm
gonna beat the
terrified.
Bengals and you're gonna lose to whoever you're playing.
The Patriots.
Oh, that's an interesting matchup
That's
actually.
a team that's like doesn't have a good record, but like you have to be awake for because first of all, I've
Definitely
liked how they looked
have
even in their
outplayed
losses.
their record so far.
And
For
it's
sure.
just like, well, Bill Belichick is there, so the defense can
Yeah.
always just have the perfect adjustments in
Yeah.
scheme for you. But yeah, do you want to start us off and talk about the Titans?
I can start us off because this isn't going to take very long at all because this was a failure on all fronts. We had less than 100 total yards on offense. The defense looked the worst they've looked so far this season. Granted, I think it's the defense's job is much harder when the offense is going three and out every single drive. The defense is constantly on the field. They're going to get tired. And even though they did get tired, they started allowing a couple of runs like in the second half. But overall, the Browns I think still average less than 3 yards per carry. So the run defense is still phenomenal. But
Yeah.
we somewhat made Deshaun Watson look like the Deshaun Watson of old. He still had one of the worst decisions you'll see all year.
That went that clip went
He
viral.
threw a fumble like 10 yards behind him.
Yeah.
So that was either I think it was Kareem Hunt. It might have been Jerome Ford who was like the
And
intended target, but they had to go back and recover it. Like, by the way, the Browns scored a touchdown on that drive, so it didn't even matter. But it
yeah,
was second and 26. They moved the ball a little bit, and then I think the third down that was the pass interference on Sean Murphy Bunting, which he didn't. He had a couple of penalties in this game. Christian Fulton had a penalty in this game. Fulton in general, by the way, fun fact about Christian Fulton: he's the only corner in the NFL to allow a perfect passer rating when targeted this year.
oh,
He's been bad. He's he's been very bad. You got he's probably on a relatively short leash as well because Mike Vrabel does not like him very much. Like, what do you call it? He specifically called out both him and David Long last year as far as like repeat offenders for soft tissue injuries. And of course, David Long is no longer with the team, and Miami only gave David Long $5 million, which is exactly what we gave Aziz Al-Shaair. So Vrabel essentially flipped David Long for Aziz Al-Shaair because he was sick of David Long constantly dealing with like hamstrings and shit. So I'd imagine Fulton's leash is pretty short, especially if he's playing like this. I think it's at some point maybe Trey Avery starts playing it because I want to point this out. Titans are 1-0 when Christian Fulton is out.
mm,
At 0-2 when he's playing. So I don't know, man. Trey Avery, like the Chargers targeted him all game, but he made some plays and he's at least competitive at the catch point. Unlike Christian Fulton has been so far this year. I would believe in Fulton, but I mean, if you're in a contract year, you'd think you'd be playing with a fire under your ass, but he looks like he's just phoning it in so far this season. Who's not phoning it in, though, so far this year, and this is the one positive really from this game, has been Roger McCreary, who is playing in the slot this year after being forced to play on the outside last year just due to injuries and all types of other stuff. He was our CB1 for like half the season last year. Fulton missed a lot of time. Of course, for Caleb Farley missed almost the entire year.
mm.
Um, Roger McCreary's been playing in the slot. He's been a tackling machine. He's just, of course, he's always played really sticky man coverage, and he's got physical limitations. He's got the shortest arms, I think, in the league of a corner, and one of the shortest arms to ever play the position. He's not super fast. He's got average speed probably for a corner, but in general, his athletic traits leave a little to be desired. So the slot is really where he should be, and he's been playing really well. So the Roger McCreary slot corner experiment has been working, and it still worked in this game. He had some nice tackles. He had a sack in the third or fourth quarter. So one positive from this game, Roger McCreary had a sack, and Nick Folk is still perfect. He made his only field
Yeah.
goal in this game. Oh, and Sean Murphy Bunting, even though he's penalty prone, does continue to make plays. He forced a fumble, and we lost 9 yards after that fumble recovery in those three plays. We lost 9 yards, and then Nick Folk hit his only field goal, was 44 yards. So, yeah, our only points came off of a turnover that got us into the red zone, and then we lost 9 yards in three plays. So Cleveland's defense had a day. Like I said, less than 100. I
Which
think
is
92 yards of total offense is what we had in this game.
yeah. I mean, Cleveland's defense is elite, so it's not something to beat yourself over too
No,
much.
they've
But
only allowed 21 first downs this year in three
which was
games.
insane.
21 first downs in three
second
games.
place was in the 40s.
41.
Second
I
and third
think it
place
was.
were in the 40s.
I think Dallas was 46, and it was a Buffalo was
Dallas
41, or somebody else was 41.
I know Dallas was third. I don't remember who second was. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
saw that.
Buffalo, but I know Dallas was 46, and I think Buffalo was
Yeah.
41. But again, Cleveland 21 that's almost half of the next
Yeah.
closest team. It's insane, but yeah,
Mm.
this was a bit longer than I expected. But yeah, basically failure on all
Yeah.
fronts. And at this point, I am ready to see one of our 24-year-old whippersnappers at quarterback, or both of them for that matter. But
Next week?
at any point, like realistically, okay, so yes, Ryan Tannehill gives us the best chance to win, but win
Mhm.
what? Barely squeak into the playoffs, maybe, if things
Yeah.
go well this year. Because I mean, this is the Titans' early season schedule was tough. We all knew that going in. This was a tough way
Yeah.
to start the year, but now it's not even looking like it's going to get that much better. We have to play Miami in like
Oof.
November. Uh, like we,
Best team. We'll talk about them later,
yeah.
I'd assume, but best team in the league.
We're definitely gonna have to talk about them later. They made history, but
Yeah.
yeah, the schedule. What it initially looked like it was going, but we play at the entire. We play Tampa. We play Atlanta. We play
Teams that we thought.
Carolina late in the season, which I still think they're going to come along a lot better, and they're still not a team I want to play late. So
If that offensive line might make that hard to happen.
yeah. Well, speaking of bad offensive lines, this team desperately needs Peter Skoronsky back. But what I learned today from a friend of mine, she's in med school, and the reason they're being so cautious with Skoronsky after his appendectomy, he's probably not going to play this week either. If you do too much strenuous activity after you get an appendectomy, you can get sepsis and go into septic shock and die. So I would rather Skoronsky takes another week
Live.
to get healthy than dies on the field against Cincinnati. Granted,
God.
it's the Bengals. We need all the help we can get. Joe Burrow is 3-0 against us in his career. I still think that first win in his rookie season was ridiculous, but that was the game I think Adam Humphries died. I'm pretty sure. Who was I think Von Bell like killed him, like just ended his whole life on the field. I don't even think there was a penalty for it, so I don't remember. But I was pissed. I know that game pissed me off. That was the first game of Derrick Henry's career that he rushed for 100 yards and we didn't win the game.
Oh
Because that was
wow,
a
that's
stat for a long
insane
time. We
stat.
were like 16-0 or 17-0 or whatever in games in which Derrick Henry runs for 100 yards or more. And yeah, that was our
Wow.
first loss. I was so pissed. But that's one of the worst losses I can remember experiencing because they were like 1-10 at the time or whatever, and we were their second win.
Hmm.
So that was right before Burrow got hurt, like a game or two before his injury or something, and we were their second win of the season. But anywho, I think I've said my piece. I want Malik Willis or Will Levis or both to play for the rest of the season because we need a plan,
Yeah.
right? This is Tannehill's last year of his contract.
Hmm.
He's not the guy. We all know it. Like let's be honest with ourselves. Like he's just. I love him, but he's not the answer. So
Yeah.
see
You're
what you
you're in the
have
boat.
in the whippersnappers, and if they both stink, then the team
Boom.
will stink, and now you're in line for probably not Caleb Williams. I don't think Mike Vrabel would ever let his team be that
Yeah.
bad, but
But it's
Drake
such a
May,
good
Michael
quarterback class.
Penix, Quinn Ewers, like there's like five.
Shador.
He's staying another year. He's there's no way he declares this year.
I think he won't, but I think he should.
He should. Well, we'll
Yeah.
see how the rest of the year plays out. He didn't exactly have the game of his career against Oregon. We'll see if
I
he
think he'll be
continues to
fine.
struggle against, better competition. But they play USC this week, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think regardless, I think he probably won't be eligible. But
Bo
even then, he's
Nix.
well, we'll see. I mean, I like Bo Nix. I don't know that I'd
He'd
love
probably
him as an
be.
NFL prospect, but
I
I'd have
mean,
to
maybe
watch
he'd
more
hit the
film.
ground running the best because
I'd have
he's
to
what
watch more film.
29.
I think him and Penix are both 6-year seniors.
And Nix. Oh, okay. I didn't
Penix
know
is a
he
6
was.
year. Grant Penix is 24, but also Penix is just really fucking good. Like,
Hmm.
he's left-handed though, which is my only knock on him. I just hate left-handed quarterbacks. There's literally nothing to that other than he's just left-handed, and I hate it. Like,
Okay,
you ever
even though
seen those?
two
You ever
is.
no? You ever seen those videos of like they reverse Tua's arm to like make it to where he looks like they reverse the footage or whatever, so he's throwing with
So
his
there's
right
like
arm, and
a.
the throws look so much better. The throws
I
just look so much smoother. They just look so much
yeah.
nicer. Like if I need to watch Michael Penix film, but like reversed, so that I can see him throw with his right arm. I'll probably like him even more. But at this point, like he's close to Drake May. He might even be ahead of Drake May in my QB rankings
Well,
right now.
don't watch any Texas A&M games for the rest of the season because our quarterback, who I guess we'll talk about during college football because I did actually see some of that
Max
game.
Johnson, yeah, is
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about it then.
yeah, we'll talk about the Connor Wigman news, but yeah, I think it's your turn. Sorry, I've hogged the
Yeah,
floor
no, you're
long
good.
enough.
You're good. I mean, this week was very frustrating. I guess first of all, the Cardinals, even just after the first two games, it was apparent that this team is probably better than we expected. Maybe not maybe due to the talent on the roster that they probably still could have been Caleb Williams um area in terms of the draft, like that could
Right.
still be a possibility. But it was just like, okay, they're playing way harder and looking better than anticipated.
Right.
And maybe by the end of the year, people might need to apologize to their head coach.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I'm almost ready to give Jonathan Gannon an apology. But
he's yeah, I mean, we should have known he's from Nick Sirianni's coaching tree, and this is a similar thing happened with Sirianni, where when he does a press conference,
oh,
people are like, "Oh, this guy's kind of weird. He's not going to work," and then he's okay.
I vividly remember the things people were saying about like I don't know, some people were trying like tying it back into Eric Bieniemy somehow, but like I guess the argument was like you're telling me Bieniemy's not good in interviews, but then this you can't tell me this guy walked in there and just commanded the floor. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's probably that's a fair point honestly because
yeah.
yeah, he was nervous as shit. And also, the side note, this is I don't dislike him or anything, but Nick Sirianni has by far and away the most punchable face in the league. Like I don't
Oh,
know
I
what it
mean,
is.
I'm
I
a
just
Cowboys fan, so there's a bias, but I
well
don't.
for sure,
I
but
like
I'm
him as a
like
coach because I
yeah.
respect him, but I don't like him at the same time.
I look at him and I'm like
But yeah, but for back to the
I
Cardinals,
want to hit him. I want to hit him.
the Cowboys, the Cowboys were down their three most important offensive linemen as well. That definitely played a huge part. It also played a big part in the penalties where we gave up over 100 yards in penalty yards, which is
Oh, that's
very
brutal.
bad. But we're out Tyler Biadasz, our center. Being out your starting center, he's not like a top tier center, but your center is very important to your offensive line. Him being out, big deal. Zach Martin, our best offensive lineman, best guard in football, was out. Tyron Smith was out. Like that is
So
tough.
many injuries.
That is tough. We still rushed for let's see here, 185, but that was because we just kept running it. And this was this is what annoyed me the most. And this is when I turned off the TV. I think there was about 6 minutes left in the game. We're down 2 scores. We're either in the red zone or just outside of the red zone to score, give our defense a chance to give us the ball back and go down and score again and try to win the game. But we just kept running the ball over and over and over again. And next thing I know, we're staring down the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
And I'm like, Mike, what the fuck? It was so frustrating to me. I'm like, we have to score quickly.
Yep.
We have to score quickly. If the throws don't work, we can blame. Yeah, Dak's going to get blamed either way if we win or lose. So just start throwing the ball.
Yep.
I get that, we had better luck running the ball in that game than throwing it up until that point.
Yep.
The Cardinals secondary did play very well, but you just have to. And he just didn't run out of time. It was very. So I don't even know what happened in the last couple of minutes because I get so invested into these games. I've talked about it. I let them get to me too much,
Yep.
and what that has resulted is me being like, okay, I have to turn this off, or I'm going to go to an unhealthy anger level.
It only took us until week 3 for both of us to turn the game off before it was over.
Yeah.
Wow. Normally, I almost never do that for losses.
I do that. I do that a
Okay.
lot. I do that pretty frequently, so it's nothing surprising on my end.
Well, we were getting
I do
our
it.
shit
Oh my
kicked
god!
in, so the only reason
The Mavs. You don't even want to see what happened with me in the Mavs last season when we just imploded halfway through the season.
Yeah.
That shit had me furious.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Dallas Wings. I think they're down 0-2 right now, but I almost turned off one game because they got so down their first playoff game, but they ended up coming back from like 20 points.
Good shit.
Made it worth keeping on. Shout out ladies. Shout out to the ladies. But yeah. I'm just looking through the stat sheet right now, like trying to think of what all I need to say. I mean, I know that some stuff has been talked about running at Micah Parsons, that being the key. It's just weird because when I watch, I don't even see him necessarily being bad in run defense.
Yeah.
He's almost like how Trevon Diggs was in coverage, where it's like either Diggs is getting an interception or he's giving up a decent bit of yards.
Yeah.
It's like either Micah Parsons is getting a tackle for loss
Or giving
or
up 10 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 10 yards, once it reaches 10, maybe
Yeah.
the first 5 are his fault, maybe the next 5 aren't. But it just
Did you see the play where like Micah was lined up at D tackle and Leighton Vander Esch was on the edge?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing Vander Esch can rush occasionally. I don't
Right,
hate
right, but I mean, it
doing
was
that.
like Micah at D tackle is just obscene.
When he when it's a passing when it's a obvious passing situation, he's actually really good from that spot. I mean, rushing the passer, if it's an own
Yeah,
rushing, Mike is going to be good wherever you line him
of
up.
course, because he's Micah
So
Parsons.
I just don't remember what the surrounding circumstances of that play was, so I can't comment on that. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I
the
just saw a
Cardinals.
screenshot of the pre-snap lineup. I thought it was hilarious.
If you told me that we have this loss before the season started, I would have been so angry, and I still am angry. But seeing how the Cardinals played the first 2 weeks, even in losses, it's less angering. But the biggest problem right now for the Cowboys is our red zone offense. I think against the Jets we were like 2 of 6 in the red zone, which is not good enough.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I really have to say. We just have to get better on the red zone offense, and I don't want to freak out too much because, like I said, we were down 3 offensive linemen. We do have a new play caller, so there is going to be some new stuff going on that we might have to adjust to.
Right.
So I don't want to hit the panic button right now. Every good team has a bad loss like this. They get one a season. They get one a season. A bad loss, obviously,
Yeah.
not just a loss. Period, but one bad loss. Because I think last year did did the Chiefs lose? Because I think they've lost to them before, but did the Chiefs lose to the Colts last year?
I think that was a couple of years ago with like the Jacoby Brissett game, the legacy game or
I
whatever, where they
remember
only
that
scored
one. I felt
16. That
like
was like 2019 or something. That was a long
I
time
felt like
ago.
they did it last year too.
Maybe I don't remember who Kansas City lost to last year. I'm not particularly
Um,
well versed.
I'm gonna see if I can find it because I feel like um, I because my thought process was that I think they had done it last year, and the Colts had the fourth pick, and the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl. I mean, this could be the wrong example. I really feel like that's what happened, but I'm not entirely certain.
Yep.
But every good team, I think, throughout the season gets one bad loss. It's better if it's at the beginning of the season because it's easier to
Yeah, you get to work it out.
move on from that.
Yeah.
It's more concerning when it's later in the season. But even if it's later in the season, you know, you sleep up the wheel one time, shit happens.
Yeah.
This is a loss that I can. It's the one bad loss.
Yeah,
If
you
we
can
have another
stomach
one,
this.
I hit the panic button.
Yeah.
And the panic button for me is like
We're
right
no
now.
longer contenders. Yeah.
Yeah, because right now I still feel like we are Super Bowl contenders. I really do feel that way.
Yeah.
Especially projecting out that our offense might be able to gel a little bit better. Play calling might we figure out what works and what doesn't with
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy. He hasn't called plays in a while, so I'll give him a little bit of time. But
hmm He needs
yeah,
it.
that was bad, and I really don't have I don't have anything else to say. If you want to
Yeah, move on
move on to
here
the next
to
topic,
when would you go for it on fourth down? Because we see it a
yes,
lot where
this
teams will punt the ball at
two.
midfield, teams will go for it in their own 20 or in their own 30,
Yeah,
whatever.
because two big examples happened recently. Um, there was obviously Brandon Staley. He's the king of this.
hmm
He's the reason that talk shows keep bringing up this conversation, going for it in his own territory, um, in a must-win game.
Yes.
A must-win game, and he lucked out that the Vikings outchoked him, but they went for it. The play call itself was bad because they just go up the middle when they've not been able to do that all game. They don't get it, but the
Yeah.
Vikings outchoke them. And then the other one was the Raiders being down 8, kicking a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down when they were down 8, trying to tie the game.
Yep. That was an
So
interesting one.
so those are the different ends of like somebody went for it when everyone says they shouldn't, and somebody didn't go for it when everyone else says they should have. So I figured it would just be we don't have to talk too much about those ones. We've kind of talked about them a little bit, and they're
Yep.
being talked about everywhere. I just figured we would maybe just talk about when we ourselves would be
Yeah.
going for it on fourth down and when we wouldn't.
Well, I do want to make a point about Brandon Staley
Oh yeah, of
consistently
course.
going forward in his own territory because the idea behind that should be you should really only go for it consistently in your territory when you trust your defense. That
hmm
man, there's no way he trusts his defense because it stinks. It has
It
always
has to
stunk.
be. he has to be a blind arrogance because he's supposed to be a defensive mind.
Yes,
He
and his
just has to be like,
defense
I know
is
what I'm doing.
awful.
I can we
Yeah,
can do this.
you're probably right about that. I think
And
coaches in
it's
general have a
just
lot of pride, but like
of course
this
they
is
have to get there, but
oh, of
it is also
course.
say it's double edged sword. It's what
Yeah,
brings them
because
there, and it's also what
well,
gets them
and
fired.
it's the reason why some people refuse to fire bad coordinators because they don't want to admit they hired the wrong guy. It's
Steelers.
well, yeah, Mike Tomlin still hasn't fired Matt Canada, so
I get the reasoning because I think he said it or somebody had said it, but about
they've definitely talked
they
about
have a
it.
young quarterback. They have a young quarterback. They don't want to keep bringing in new people. They want him to be in one system, let him grow. But if it's a bad system, get a new
That's
coordinator.
almost like the same. I don't know. This is a weird comparison, but it feels like the same argument of like staying together for the kids when you both want to get divorced. That's the same principle
There are
right
some
there.
extreme examples where like if you have to have such maturity to do that because the Kelseys did it.
Yeah,
They're like one of the few examples of it working. I think there is something to that, but it's just majority of the time it
yeah,
is better to separate. Because I do get the reasoning of like being there for the kids.
yeah,
It would help for their like the Kelsey situation of helping with their after schools to be able to have two people to help move them around. But
yeah,
that's an extreme example of it working for
yeah,
the majority. Um,
yeah.
Kids will grow up and tell you, "I wish
Yeah, I
you
wish
guys were not together."
they had just just split up
I've
because
said
it
this
was
about me. Me
brutal.
and my sisters have said this about our own parents. We're like, they're just roommates.
Yeah,
It's just weird.
I
But
hear you.
I'll say because I think about this for going forward on fourth down, field position obviously matters a lot. So for me, I think if I'm in their territory and I'm in the 25 because that's about what a
Yeah,
touchback would be, and that's what we get most of the time
yeah,
um, on kickoffs. I would take a better field position. I would risk the field position. Like for me, it's one more try to get 4 extra points than you would have
yeah,
if you had just kicked the field goal. And if you don't get it, you set your defense up in a really good spot of them being that backed up. So I'm thinking fourth.
yeah.
I think I'd be really ballsy with it. I think and the flow of the game matters, but I think
Of
fourth
course.
and like 7
Oh
and
shit.
shorter. I really and I'm like in between the 25. I think I'd go for it unless it's like field goal to win the game,
Gotcha.
obviously. But I would be pretty ballsy with it. And then I think fourth and one. I think I'd
Almost
probably
all
just
that's
always go
automatic.
for it.
Yeah. That.
The only thing would be if I'm super backed up in my own territory.
Yeah. If you're like on your own goal line, it's 4th and 1. Unless it's a gotta have it situation. Yeah, you probably wouldn't go
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. And
But
then for just being in my own territory, yeah. Fourth and one, fourth and two. It depends on how good the run game is. That's another thing.
yep.
How good is my run game? If fourth and two is also damn near automatic, I'd probably
Yep.
also do it. Um,
You need a
and
really good
then
short yardage running back for that. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it's just I there's a balance of coaches. I think coaches need to do it more. There's a couple coaches that need to do it less. I can only think of Brandon Staley, but
Yep.
um, I think fourth and shorts in their territory. It benefit the defense gets good field position even if you don't get it. So
Yep.
just keep fucking going for it.
Yep.
That's
So
my take.
I'd say so. Like you said, 4th and 1 is almost automatic once you get to
Hmm.
like midfield, like your
Yeah.
own 45 or whatever. 4th and 1's automatic. But
Hmm.
if I trust my defense, I'm going 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 4. I'm doing that regularly
Yeah.
because if you know your defense is stout and you know you need points, like go in and get them. You know what I mean? Go try to
Mm.
get them because you're I mean, points are hard to come by, obviously.
Yeah.
Yards are hard to come by. If it's 4th and 2 and your defense is elite and you're at your own 45, go for it. Even if you don't get it, you maybe they get into field goal range, but probably not letting up a touchdown if you've got an elite defense. But I mean, obviously, if my
Mm.
defense stinks, I'm going to be way more conservative about it. But even then, if your defense sucks, you punt the ball. They might still let up a touchdown
Yeah. There's a
because your
balance of
defense
like
sucks.
yeah.
So sometimes you want to keep your defense off the field. So if it's fourth and
Mm.
one, it's still almost automatic. So, but again, if I like, regardless of game scenarios,
Mm.
just generally speaking, 4th and short at midfield, I
Go
feel
for
like
it.
I'm going for it because I don't want to punt the ball from midfield.
Yeah.
That's lame.
And I get that. Either you punt it because there's a huge chance if it's midfield, there
Oh,
is a
yeah.
really good chance of a
You get the you get
touchback.
the you, or yeah or well if you have a really good punter maybe you'll go for it like or maybe not go for it, but like you'll punt because you know you can get a coffin corner, but
Yeah.
if your punter is prone to like doesn't have much control just keeps booting it out the back of the end zone, I'm not
Well,
punting at the 50 because then it's only a 30-yard swing. No, I'm going
yeah.
for it. If I don't get it, I don't get
The
it. But
points are worth that much yardage.
yeah,
I guess the
so
other thing would be how much time is left. End of the first half.
yeah,
Not just like the field goal would end the half, but also like minute ish left.
yeah,
It's like, well, that's not enough time for their offense to do much. So I
yeah.
guess I would maybe kick the field goal
Well,
then,
it
just
depends
get
on
the
who you're
points.
playing against. If you're playing Kansas City with
That
13
is also
seconds and
yes,
two timeouts, that's
it's
plenty
true.
enough time for a field goal. So
Yeah,
depends on how
but it
if
would
it's
have
a
to be an elite
yeah
quarterback,
if
not
it's a
just offense, but
yeah
quarterback
if
for
it's a
that.
bad offense though, especially when helmed by a bad quarterback, you'd probably feel more comfortable punting in that situation. So it
Yeah,
is situational. Obviously, every case is different.
of course.
But
Like
if I need a touchdown late in the game and we're down by 8 and I'm like, it's fourth down,
mm,
yeah, I'm probably going for it.
the controversial fourth down calls that we had this week, I would have done the opposite of what both had done.
Yeah.
I punted if I'm Brandon Staley. I go for it if I was the Raiders.
The Vikings really outchoked the
That
Chargers in that
was
game.
crazy. I was so hoping the Vikings would win,
Me too.
just
I was
because,
really
just because I would have loved to have rubbed it in Gabe's face. The Chargers being 0-3
would have been hilarious.
would have been amazing,
He's
but
not
it
even a
didn't
Chargers
happen.
fan. He's just a Justin Herbert cock gobbler. But
Dan.
yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
there really aren't there are more Justin Herbert fans than there are Chargers fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
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 like
yeah.
easily.
Every LA team, both Rams and Chargers, every single visiting team has more fans in the stands. It's
Yeah,
sad.
it's brutal. Especially the Rams have such a nice stadium.
Yeah,
It's
Rams and
gorgeous.
Chargers.
They share it. They still
Yeah,
share it. I thought the Chargers had their own for some reason.
I don't think so. We
Do,
could check that
do
out.
they use
But
SoFi? I'm gonna Google this.
yeah, go ahead. But I'll tee us up for the next topic because I think we're done with the fourth,
Yeah,
right?
I think we're good
Yeah.
here. You go ahead and get us
So
started.
the next topic, we're just gonna talk about how we feel about some of the rules in the NFL. Two were being talked about a lot recently, or at least that we had seen somewhere that I thought we would bring up. I guess we'll start off with holding calls.
The Chargers do play at SoFi. I'm an idiot.
Okay,
Okay.
not an idiot.
No,
You're wrong about one thing.
yeah,
Doesn't make
both
you an
LA
idiot.
teams share
You
SoFi.
suck dick one time. You're not gay.
Don't make me gay. Chef got to taste
Yeah.
his own food or whatever. I don't know. If I cook one time, does that make me a chef?
No.
So if I suck dick one time, I'm cool.
It depends if you like it. But
Well, yeah,
side note,
yeah. If you like it, and
if you
keep
liked it,
going.
you're gay, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, if you like it, and then you keep going, you realize you still like it. Yeah. I think there's something to be said there. I don't
Like,
know.
but what if you weren't even like, I don't like him. It's just I just like sucking dick.
Well, that makes you. I feel like that'd be gay.
It's a gay action, but
Well, no,
does it
because
make you gay?
are you attracted to that particular part of the anatomy? If so, yes.
What if
Even
it's
if you
just
don't
like,
like him.
what if you're like, it's not an attraction thing. It's just fun to make a dude come. You're like, I
How
don't
did
get
we?
off to this.
Uh,
You're like, I'm not horny. It's just fun to make a dude come.
I guess that's not gay. I don't know.
Because
Maybe
you're not
that's just a
you're not getting
hobby.
sexual
It's
gratification
just a
from it.
hobby
You're
at
just
that
like,
point.
dude, when he fucking rolls his eyes back, it's so funny.
We're damn near an hour into this already.
This
where
is
we
gonna
are.
be a long one, dude.
Yeah,
And
this
that's
is gonna
fine.
be a 3 hour
Gives a
clip.
fuck.
I'm gonna eat dinner at 2 a.m. This is gonna be great. It's okay. I just took a 4.5 hour nap earlier.
If this ends up being our funniest podcast, we might have to talk about pushing back the recording time.
Yeah. Or you know what? At some point, we might just have to let it ride 3 hours or 2.5 every time.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm. Who
Because
watches this?
Well, this is for us, man. This is
It really is, and I think that is the best. That's what
Yeah.
makes the best stuff.
If
the
you're
best
still
stuff.
watching right now, if you're still here after that tirade
Dude, if you're
about
watching
sucking
right
dick,
now-
I love you.
Comment whether or not that's gay.
Yeah, we need your input.
It is a gay action,
But
regardless, in my
does
opinion.
it make you gay?
But does it make you
if
gay?
you would just enjoy the act of sucking dick.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, uh,
Anyways,
should we progress forward?
holding. I've been
Holding.
saying this for a while. I hate that it's a 10-yard
Yeah,
penalty
you
because it
and
is
I
such a
both
drive
agree on
killer.
this.
And my biggest gripe is when like the hold is way away from the play,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, the speed that that other player that got held would have
Yep.
to impact this play in any capacity
Yep.
is they don't have it. They don't have that type of speed.
Yep.
This penalty is just killing a drive, and it's
Granted,
caused it. Yeah,
you as the offensive player, because that usually happens with like skill position player. That's usually like a wide receiver is holding or whatever.
yeah,
Like the player
that's
you're
true.
describing, it's usually a wide receiver.
That's true.
You have to have the
Discipline.
situational awareness and discipline to know that your running back has already gotten past the second level.
Yeah.
You need to let go. He's already gotten past you. You need to let go because
Yeah.
you're going to draw a flag every time. And like I get it as if it's not going to affect the play, but at the same time, if it's not going to affect the play, why the hell are you still holding? Let go.
Yeah.
At some point, you just have to let go.
Yeah. So, and you're the one who said this because I was just saying 5 yards.
Yes.
That's all I was saying. But you said this the other day, and I liked it a lot.
Yes.
Because it makes total sense.
Yes.
What your worry or your complaints about if it was just
Yeah.
5 yards being that it why not hold on a huge passing play because I just
Yeah.
can't give up a sack.
Yeah.
You
I
can
think-
you can say what you think it should
So
be.
my thought, and I've had this thought for about a year or two now. I think we talked about this the other day because you mentioned that you think holding should be a 5 yard penalty, and I said I've always
And I've said that
yeah.
I think
For a long
we've been in
time,
a
I
group
think.
chat together. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been on this a while.
But I've thought for a while now. I think it should be 5 yards and a loss of down because
Yeah,
I think 10 yard penalty, but keeping the down is such a ridiculously arbitrary like ruling on the penalty because that's not something that happens on the play. What happens on the play, typically a sack is a loss of around somewhere between 3 to 7 yards usually, unless a quarterback just runs comically far back trying to extend the play.
Which is so funny.
It's hilarious. It was like a 12 yard loss or whatever.
This,
Anytime you hit
the
double
Russell
digits,
Wilson special.
yeah, the Josh Allen rookie season in the preseason when he ran back like 20 yards in the preseason, that was ridiculous.
Or
But
that one crazy one that Mahomes took.
yeah,
I think it was against the Dolphins.
I'm not sure, but most good escape artist quarterbacks have had one of those where they
Yeah.
just lose a
Mobile
comical amount of
quarterbacks
yards.
get sacked the most.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're the ones that think I can do it, I can escape, I can make the
And they're
play.
like,
And
you're a great athlete. So is the person rushing
yeah,
you.
the guy rushing you ran a 4.45, so yeah,
Yeah.
most edge
Oh shit!
rushers-
The blitzing linebacker got me.
Yeah, well, even most edge rushers now are running like 4.5, 4.4, like some you even get
Terrifying.
like a 4.39 every once in a while. Like you get
It
one or
is
two of those a
terrifying
year.
when you hear like this is so fucked up to bring up, but like when you hear about like an offensive or like a defensive lineman with like domestic abuse charges,
Yeah,
the thought of that size of a man that can move at that speed coming after a
a
woman
normal
like
size, like
half-
a 5'1",
Yeah.
120 pounds.
It's like, dude, like beyond just the part of like having the maturity to have a conversation instead of what you're doing,
Yeah,
the fucking
the
lack
size difference.
of intelligence to just be like, or like this insecurity where you have to exert your physical dominance over somebody that is like the size of your leg
Yeah,
is insane.
yeah, I'm with you. That's
Yeah, but yeah, so holding.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you-
back to the 5 yards loss of down because that way
Perfect.
you're not incentivizing offensive linemen to hold anymore because it's basically the same. Like it's the only reason now you have to hold is to protect your quarterback from taking the hit, but that's it because a 5 yards and a loss of down one it doesn't push you as far back yardage wise, so it doesn't necessarily feel like as much of a drive killer even though you do lose the down, but.
And
I think it's just
I
a more
think it's
fair
a bigger-
ruling.
I think it's even a bigger penalty on like if you hold on first down
Yep.
because you're like, okay, it's first and 20, but like that weirdly enough opens up the playbook.
Yeah.
And
Now
allows
it's
us to do
second
so
and
many because we don't
15.
need the 20 in one go.
Yeah.
But yeah, second and 15, that hurts. That definitely is a bigger hurt than being
I
first
think
and 20.
the only maybe you change how it works on holding on fourth down. If you hold on fourth down,
Probably.
maybe it should just be 10 yards, keep the down. But I think every other
Yeah.
down, loss of down and 5 yards, I think makes sense. And I think you can adjust accordingly to
Yeah.
change it with fourth downs. But I think that's it. Other than that, I think I like
and
the
be,
5 yards and lost it down because
and
that's what a sack is.
and the holding call is probably the biggest one that feeds into the NFL's rigged conspiracies because they say like, oh, it happens on every play. They could call it whenever.
Yeah,
So there's a huge like people that think the NFL is rigged. They're like,
yeah.
I believe holding penalties, when and when they don't get called, is the biggest evidence of the NFL being rigged. Which I don't think it's rigged.
No, I don't think so either. But I think, well, I think it would be very difficult to rig the game to begin with because these guys have so much pride. Like nobody's gonna want to lose on purpose, and somebody would have said
Yeah.
something over the course of like several decades of
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl era. Somebody would have said, "Yeah, I was approached one time about," you know what I mean. But
That and
um,
it's like the coordination that everybody on that field has to have together
yes,
for like the plays that happen to happen. It's
yes,
like they'd have to first of all they'd have to be practicing together
yes,
already. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. The NFL rigged stuff, I get it when your team loses or you're losing money.
yeah,
It hurts like crazy and you see some dumb shit
yeah,
from refs sometimes that make your mind wander.
yes.
But sometimes it really is just a person being dumb.
Well, I don't think the outcome as far as wins and losses are rigged. I don't think like the spread is rigged either. I just think at some point like somebody probably gives the ref a call like, "Hey, could you throw them a bone so they can cover? All the money's on the other team." Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like at some point
Ooh, you're on that.
maybe you see
This is because
something
you
like that.
gamble.
Well, yeah, but also like again, that's the why do you think Vegas is so profitable? Everybody always says Vegas is always right. Well,
House
maybe
always
there's
wins.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, um, the reason they're always right is well, man, maybe there's something to that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you know, like they always know. Like every time the spread on a game is like 3.5, the game's always like decided by like 3 points or whatever. You know what I mean? For the most part, obviously there's exceptions to that because blowouts happen and upsets happen. But
And then the other
yeah, that's the
call
angle I would take.
that we talk about a lot is pass interference. The biggest play in sports is an underthrown ball that just causes a pass interference to be called.
I have so many thoughts on this.
And I want you to go off. Go ahead. You go ahead
All
and get
right.
started.
So first and foremost, I'll say this is where the college game gets it right because
Yep.
I think it being a spot foul is absurd because like you said, and I hate this so much.
And you
I
incentivize
hate I
just intentional draws of the foul.
I hate that defensive backs get punished for your quarterback having a noodle arm.
Yep.
It's bullshit. Because they have to run with the wide receiver. You can't just not run with him because you're going to give up a touchdown. You have to run with him, you have to play sticky. But the quarterback will underthrow that ball. And so the receiver will act as if he has a chance of coming back to it. He'll turn around, and of course you still have forward momentum because you're right on his ass. But he's turned around and trying to walk back. You have no time to react. He's now trying to walk through you, and you get flagged for pass interference. That's fucking stupid. Why are you being punished for doing your damn job? And if you are being punished for doing your job, it shouldn't be a 40-yard penalty. It should be a 15-yard penalty if you're going to be punished for just doing your job and the other quarterback not having enough arm strength to get the ball where it needs to be. Or
Yeah.
even if he does, like you saw like the Frank Reich when they had Carson Wentz, this was their signature move. They did this every fucking week, and I hated watching Colts games because of it. Because Carson Wentz has plenty enough arm strength to make some of the throws that he was underthrowing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the Frank Reich special. He, you know, like they did this every single week. They would underthrow these balls on purpose to draw the flag, and I don't necessarily blame coaches for taking advantage of it. I think it's a scummy thing to do, but at the if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? So
Luckily, they choked against the Jags and were not rewarded by making the playoffs that
yeah,
year.
but yeah, I still can't believe that was they had like a 90 something% chance to make the postseason, and then yeah,
And I just want to say
because
this.
yeah, go ahead.
The Pat McAfee show, every time they talk about Jonathan Taylor, they talk about him being an MVP candidate because of that season. And I'm like, guys, they were like second in the division at best, like the whole season. Our running back is not in the MVP conversation, if that's the case. I get it. He was probably the best in his position that year, but that's not.
Yep,
No.
hard pass,
Yeah. I cringe every time they say MVP candidate. I was like, he never was.
never was.
I get that you're a Colts fan because he's a Colts.
Right.
Obviously you used to play for the Colts. I'm like, I get it, but like, You brainwashed everyone else on the set to agree with you. It's just not. It just wasn't happening.
He once referred to Jacoby Brissett as an all-pro caliber quarterback in a tweet, which I thought was pretty funny. But
I mean, I love him.
I
I
love
love
Jacoby
Pat
Brissett
McAfee.
and I love Pat McAfee,
Oh yeah.
so I'm okay with that. Probably best
It,
backup in the league consistently.
also,
Him, like Teddy Bridgewater, Case
yeah.
Keenum, whatever. Like
But
you
also, to
got
be fair, Pat McAfee will talk about like everybody in such a positive way. It's like this isn't.
just a
It's
lot
not
of
even
former
really.
players do. Like, I mean, granted, you
Yeah.
do see a lot of former players going, "He sucks. He's a
Dude, fuck
scrub."
LaShawn
Yeah,
McCoy. I don't even want to talk about it. Shady.
God,
Suck my
yeah.
dick.
I fucking hate that. What a fucking loser. First of all, he's touting himself as a two-time Super Bowl champion. He didn't play a single down in either of them, but he's like, I should be in the Hall of Fame because I got 2 rings. No, your team got 2 rings. You
Dude,
did not do anything to earn those. Like,
what's his
shut
name?
the
Bart
fuck up.
Scott? Oh, I'm trying to. I don't even know
Oh,
his name.
the
Something
one, yeah,
Scott.
Bart Scott, the one who said the shit
Cowboys
about
going to
Trayvon
Cowboys
Diggs.
after
Yeah,
fucking Diggs got
it's
hurt, and
like,
even Stephen A. was like,
yeah,
"I
don't do
wouldn't."
that.
And then a clip
Yeah.
surfaced there where Stephen A. did the exact thing when
With
Romo got
Tony
hurt.
Romo, but granted, that was 7 years ago.
Uh,
So it's not really
but did he
comparable.
apologize for it? I doubt
I
it.
don't know. Probably not because it's Stephen A. But
No,
you know,
I really do not like Stephen A. Smith. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, so there's part of that.
yeah,
But he does shit like that all the time.
yeah, not my favorite.
Also, he also because I'm a Cowboys fan, he says "fuck me," like me specifically,
Yes,
not just the cow. Like, he's like he wants me to have a bad Christmas. I fucking love Christmas. First of all, I'm a religious person. It's an important holiday to me on that aspect. But also just all the festivities around it. It's magical, even without the religious
yeah.
aspect. Fucking love Christmas.
I'm not.
And then he's
religious
like,
in the
I hope you have a bad
slightest.
Christmas.
I'm not religious
I
in
was
the
like,
slightest, but I love Christmas, man. I
yeah,
love everything
I
about
love
Christmas. I love the feeling. I love
Magical.
the punch that my mom makes that gets me fucked up. You know
I
what
have
mean?
a
Like,
video up on my channel right now
yep,
where, because every Christmas I watch, December 1st through the 25th, I watch a Christmas movie a day.
yep.
Have a video where I talk about that, if you're curious about
Yeah, you
anyone out
should
there.
go to his channel after this. Maybe check that video
Uh,
out.
anyways, yeah.
Or at
I
the very
think we
least,
talked about.
bookmark it so you can check it out in December.
Oh, I'm doing a video again.
Well, they can watch both.
You get 2 videos. Well, I guess it comes. Well, actually, technically, it comes out after Christmas because I'm
bonus
talking
feature.
about it afterwards.
Yeah.
But I'll probably do like shorts and TikToks and everything like as each day when I talk about each movie.
Yeah.
So just come fucking subscribe to my channel
Just
and keep up
fucking
with everything.
Subscribe. What the fuck are you doing watching this?
What
Not
are you
subscribing?
doing?
You're not watching this, but if you
But-
are, go subscribe.
Are you? I think we're done with the rules talk, right?
I
Want to
think,
move
I
on
think
to
I've said my piece. If you've said yours,
So-
we're good.
from here on out, at least for the foreseeable future, we'll see,
Yep.
how we like these things and how they work out. But I think it'd be a good idea for us every week to talk about the best win that a team had, the best loss that a team had, the worst win that a team had, and the worst loss
Yes.
that a team had. So we're gonna start off with the best win of the week. Pulling up the games right now for a little refresher.
Can it be anybody besides the Miami Dolphins?
The only other one
Oh, Indianapolis. Actually, hang on.
in terms of
Indianapolis.
unexpected just win,
Yeah.
like just the win itself,
Gotta
like
be Indianapolis.
being the winner. The biggest surprise is definitely Indianapolis, but quality of win, it is. I mean, it is Miami. The only other one you could think is the Chiefs.
Well,
because
granted,
the
I think
offense
that's-
finally clicked.
Look, hang on, that's the Taylor Swift effect. That doesn't count.
No, but I mean, I
I'm
think
just
even
kidding.
outside
Yeah.
of it. Which, hold on, I want to say something.
Yep.
Everyone's out there like, who cares about this Taylor
I
Swift,
care.
Travis Kelsey thing?
Me.
I care.
I care.
Okay,
I like this.
care.
I like
this
this
is
a lot.
beautiful. First of all, very attractive people getting together. That's always nice.
Yes.
Also, the merging of the biggest fandom in the female world and the biggest fandom in the male world, just the NFL in
They're
general,
colliding.
is a beautiful thing. Okay, there's an increased chance of women taking an interest in what men like.
Yes.
Maybe I might get a little pushback from this, but I feel like it's usually maybe men because it's dirty reasoning. Men just want to have sex, so sometimes, well, not all of it, but they're just taking interest just to try to get somewhere.
Yes.
It's beautiful to see maybe the other, going back around and being able to both be taking interest.
In
this
general,
thing
it's
together.
nice to see more people getting into football because of this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I saw, like you saw the thread, right? Of like the person explaining downs and whatnot, basically just explaining the basic rules of football, like
Yeah.
like a Taylor Swift fan page, whatever, explaining.
And
the
that's always
basic
fun.
rules.
It's like, how would I start an explanation of
I've
football.
I've tried recently with somebody. It didn't go very well.
Yeah.
I did my best. I drew out some illustrations of like I was drawing like what a standard formation looks like on offense and defense, and I tried to swing like downs for some reason are very hard to explain like outside of the game. But I feel like if you're watching the game and explaining it, it'd be a lot easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
They should just
regardless.
all watch that animated
Yep.
ESPN Plus alternate broadcast that's going to be
Yep.
happening.
Yep.
It's just going to be a bunch of Swifties. Like, okay, maybe we can
Yep.
figure this
So
out.
this wasn't supposed to be necessarily a Taylor Swift segment. It became one,
I,
but that's
I, I
okay.
meant to do that in the beginning, and I forgot. I was going to do it during the personal
We were gonna
check-in.
find it in somewhere, but I'm
It has
I'm
to.
glad you and I agree on this because I've seen so many people get
Also,
so up in arms about this.
just scroll past it. That's the biggest thing. Oh, I'm gonna unfollow. Okay, then do that.
Do
No one
it.
gives a fuck,
Yeah,
dude. Just
but
scroll past it.
I'm tired
She
of
is
seeing
currently,
this on my feed. Scroll.
and
Scroll
people are like,
somewhere.
"I missed the LeBron post." Shut the
No,
fuck
you
up.
don't.
No,
You
you
be
really don't.
complaining.
You complained like
Yeah.
crazy.
And the people saying like because Colorado happened to lose this weekend at the same
Yeah.
time. So people were like, all right, I missed the Colorado post. No, you don't. Every single
No,
one of you
you-
was complaining. Like this is just as bad
Yeah.
for you. Let's be honest. Although
I-
I personally would rather see the Taylor Swift stuff than constantly seeing
Same.
Colorado because I've seen a little less. I think of because they would actually post like 9 posts in a row about Colorado. And even that, it's not like they stopped the Colorado post this weekend. They
No.
just got a little overshadowed by the Taylor Swift stuff. But like, as of like the
It-
past couple days, I've seen plenty of Colorado posts again. They're
Yeah,
back.
but it just anytime people are complaining about what they see on their feed, I'm just like, just scroll.
Just scroll.
It's so you
Yeah.
went out of your way to get into. Also, you're engaging with that post, so now your
Yeah,
recommended
if you're
posts are going to be
commenting on
more
this
likely
post,
like
you're
that.
going to see more of these. Like,
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Like when people see, like like Instagram will eventually, like occasionally will show you like a reel or whatever of like something that you haven't have expressed interest in before, but they're just showing you something new. If you comment, "I've never seen something like this before. Why am I getting recommended?" Well, now you're going to see
Oh,
more of it
yeah.
because you just chose to engage with it. You fucking moron.
It's just like those like super old senators.
Yes.
Like during like the TikTok stuff, it was like, well, when I open TikTok, all I see are underage girls shaking their ass. It's like, when I open TikTok, do you know what I see? I see dudes talking about football. What the fuck are you liking and commenting on that is making your feed only that? I see gym content. I see food stuff. I see football. I see just normal comedians.
Yep.
I don't see anything sexual on my
You're
feed.
the
I really
creep
don't.
like an underage women shaking their ass.
Yeah. I just scroll past it immediately. That's another thing because you're sitting there and you are watching
The
it.
watch time also, I think, has
Yeah.
some effect. It has the least amount of effect because, like, liking or commenting certainly does help more. But
I don't know if that's true. For TikTok, I think it is. I think it is
maybe,
watch time.
maybe not for.
'Cause
I don't know, but
I don't know about
for
it-
Instagram though, for sure. I mean, based on my anecdotal experience
Mm.
at least, because I know if I don't like something, I won't see something like it again. But as soon
Well,
as
while
I
you-
like one
well-
video, I'll see more.
Well, I feel like also if you're commenting, the video is still playing.
Yeah, that too.
So I guess there's huge overlap there.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Anyway, back
yeah,
to the,
if you are seeing something on your feed you don't like, just scroll past
scroll
it. I
past
see.
it.
I genuinely see nothing sexual on my feed anymore.
yeah,
I scroll past
I
it
see,
all.
I see muscle mommies, but I don't mind. Those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But I just count that under gym.
That's gym
content.
stuff.
I
Hey,
It does
hey.
turn me on, but it doesn't count.
Not that's not necessarily the intention, but
Yeah.
know.
Also, those women are of age.
yes, that's true.
The ones that I'm seeing, they are of age.
They are of age.
All I'm seeing is
Underage
little girls
shaking their
in their
ass.
thongs at the pool,
Yeah.
listening to some specific song I keep hearing over and over again.
Something
It's,
about
it's
some whap.
echoing in my head.
Yeah.
I see them slamming the ground and humping it all the time.
Yeah.
They're always. What were we talking about again?
You see the video where I think I might have sent it to you where it's like, pastors during Pride Month where it's like, all these men out there, they just they're touching each other, and
They're hugging.
they're
When they hug
They're-
face
they're
forward
getting
like that,
naked.
you know their penises are
rubbing each
touching.
other.
Just shaft on shaft action, just swaying around
They
as
don't
they
wear any
listen to their
clothes
little
at those
bops.
parades. It's those naked, oiled up
All I see are
bodies
big,
glistening in the
buff
sunlight.
muscular men carrying around these tight, smooth-skinned
You know how
twinks.
it is. Yeah, that's what I'm
What were
saying.
we
Like,
talking about again?
yeah. So, anyways, back to the Yeah, the
Oh, right,
Colts.
right.
Yeah, the
Best win of the
Colts.
week.
The
It's the
Colts.
Dolphins.
Well, well,
Quality of win. It's the Dolphins. Like, um,
yeah.
getting the win. Period. It's the Colts.
So
Yeah.
hang on. So is best win and worst loss kind of the same thing? Because I feel like if you let up 70, nobody else even has a candidacy for worst loss. It's Denver, right?
Well, I was gonna think about like teams that should win,
Oh, okay.
losing, and
Okay.
maybe an embarrassing, but maybe by like 12 points.
Okay. So I'll
I don't know which
say
team that could be.
I'll
It's
say
however you want to interpret
okay.
it.
Okay. I have a team
But
in
for
mind for
best
worst
win,
for best win. I like so Miami in terms of like okay, what the fuck? Like
it's just historic.
but Indianapolis in terms of like you went without Anthony Richardson in this game, and I'll talk
Mm.
about something else for worse loss. I'll spoil it. I will come back to this game because I have some things
Okay.
to say about the officiating
Yeah,
in this
it's
game.
just some. Yeah.
But regardless of how you got there, like this is a good win for Indianapolis. Even though there an asterisk on it, that's open to interpretation. But good. Regardless, this is a great win for your team. You're 2-1 instead of 1-2, which is a huge swing. So you're positive, and what you did it without your starting quarterback, which I think is just even better news if you're a Colts fan. So you got to feel excited about what this team is right now, and especially what it's going to be a year or two from now. This team is going to be something special, and I hate it because we play them twice a year, but
Told you
this
after
is
like Anthony Richardson's first week,
yeah.
I was like, it's Jags
Well,
and Colts for
even
their
even
next.
when they drafted him, I was like, it's over. It's Shane. Well, actually, once they hired Shane Steichen, I'm like, it's over because I know they're drafting Anthony Richardson, and I know
Yeah.
like this is going to work because it's Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson, and I liked Richardson more than most, even just as a prospect, but especially when you pair him with a guy who did what he did for Jalen Hurts, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over for the rest of the league. So this is going to be a very fun team to watch this year. But they're already even better than I expected them to be. But they're going to be really good within the next couple of years. This is going to be like a perennial contender very soon. And this is a statement win for a team that's a coach that's building a culture and trying to win over the fan base in the locker room. This is a statement win if you're
Yeah, and
Indianapolis.
it's like, oh, I thought they would have like I thought the season for the Colts would be miss playoffs, but Anthony Richardson
Yeah.
shows more than enough, and they build around. Now it's like, oh, playoffs are very much on
The
the table.
division is on the table because
Oh
Jacksonville's
yeah,
gotten off to a slow start.
I would, gun to my head, I probably pick the Colts right now.
I would too. I think at this point because Jacksonville, the press Taylor has been just rough.
Yeah,
For in fact, actually, there's another candidate for worst loss, but
but yeah. Do you want to move on to best loss? This is the toughest one to pick
best loss.
because if you scroll around, there's not like a bad team that hung in there with a good team. In
Yeah.
my opinion, there's no like one score
Let me
game
see.
that's like
Let me take a gander.
because the closest one for me, and it might just have to be it by default, but I'll tell you why it just can't be. It's because they lost their quarterback during the game.
Oh, okay.
It's the Saints.
Yep.
Like that's the closest one.
Well, even they let up a comeback in the fourth quarter too. A three-score
Yeah.
comeback is that's not necessarily a good way to
It,
lose.
I just I can't find like can't find
I
anything.
guess if you're maybe the Raiders don't feel as bad as most teams. Oh, actually, Carolina. I'm gonna say Carolina
I was going
because
to,
Carolina's offense at least got the ball rolling a little
but the
bit in
thing
this
with
game.
that one is, what does that say about Bryce Young?
I think
that Andy Dalton came in.
I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be
think he'll
fine,
be
but
fine.
it's just it is a little worrisome of seeing Andy Dalton come in there and be better.
I get it, but I think well he also threw
That's
58 passes. Jesus fucking Christ, 58
Mhm.
passes. But I'm gonna say Carolina just because the offense got humming a little bit, and hopefully
He's
we
Adam
see that with
Thielen.
Bryce Young.
Adam Thielen had himself a game
Turn back the clock. Look at him go.
for real. This is
Chark
what
had a nice game too.
Chark did. Chark's getting picked up, and people will regret picking him up
It's not gonna be consistent.
as a warning, especially
Yeah.
with Bryce Young coming back. Chark, I just don't.
Yeah. So I would say Carolina just
I
because
yeah.
the offense had really struggled the first 2 weeks and they had there were signs of life. this
Yeah.
week.
And then worst win.
Worst win? Gotta be the Chargers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you just you
Another
tried your
close
hardest to
one.
give this game away,
I think another close
and
one's the Patriots. 15.
uh, yeah, but at the same time, did anybody really expect that game to go any differently? 15-10, that sounds about right.
Uh yeah. I mean, like I said, it is the Chargers. I just think
Yeah,
that's like the second one. But just
probably, but I mean,
because you also should not have won with what your head coach had done with that fourth down.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Chargers really tried their hardest to give this game away. Minnesota just gave it away even harder. So the worst win
Yeah.
by far, and like I don't feel any better about the Chargers after this game, even though they won. Like I've seen some people still hold the Chargers like either in the top 10 or like number 11 in their power rankings or whatever. It's not
I
happening.
haven't
It's
I
not
haven't seen
happening.
that,
This is
thankfully.
this is not happening with Brandon Staley. I was like, he needs to go. This team is not. It's never gonna. They've looked the same for 3 years now in terms of
Hmm.
like this type of football, just losing these games or like winning, but like desperately trying to give the game away.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just not gonna happen.
I Yeah. And then I'm gonna go ahead and segue this one into worst loss. I feel like it probably is the Vikings, as I think that just ended their season three
Minnesota
weeks
for
in.
sure. I mean, you just this is a team that went what 13-4 last year,
Hmm. It's
and
also
you're
how
0-3, and I mean
to have that chance to
nine
win it and just not
turnovers,
being able to.
9 turnovers in 3 games. No wonder they can't lose. You're averaging 3 turnovers a game. You're not winning games averaging 3 turnovers a game. You know
No,
what I mean?
God
It's
no.
you're not even close. So it's
Unless your defense is also turning it over like fucking crazy.
and they're
You have to have
not.
like the
Yeah.
Cowboys defense of the last 2 years where they
Yeah.
lead the league in turnovers and you don't.
Yeah.
Like I still think Brian Flores has improved that unit, but
Yeah.
he's one coordinator can only do
Yeah.
so
There's
much.
actually a few candidates here for worst loss. New Orleans was up 17-0, I'm pretty sure, and allowed Green Bay to win the game, and Derek Carr got hurt. So that's a tough
Yeah.
loss if you're New Orleans. For
And,
Jacksonville,
yeah.
37-17. I forgot to include Houston as one of the best win
Best
candidates
wins. I
because
was literally looking at that as
it's a
well
good
when we
win
were
for
talking.
Houston for
It
sure.
is.
Tank Dell
But
was
there
awesome in
was
this
some
game.
really
CJ
big
Stroud was
wins.
awesome in this game. There's a lot of big wins and also just a lot of tough losses. Denver, obviously, you let up 70 points. That's I there was it was so funny because once Miami had scored 63, it was like 63-13, and Denver got a kick return touchdown, and all I could think about was like the Chris Paul meme where it's like Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut the lead down to 42, and
Against the Mavericks.
yeah, and that's exactly what I was
You're
thinking
welcome for
because
birthing that
this
meme.
this cut the lead to 43. And I was just thinking,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got a kick return touchdown, so the score is now, what, 63-20 instead of 63-13. Like, I'm sure you feel so happy right now.
And then obviously
Tennessee is
for
a tough loss. Another one.
that I
Commanders,
was yeah.
tough loss. Yeah, Tennessee had less than 100 yards of offense. I think Sam Howell had 4 interceptions, so that's two.
Yeah. That
Ravens,
was
Zaire Franklin gets away with the most egregious pass interference you'll ever see. Well, it wasn't like the worst you'll ever see, but I mean it was
also
certainly like obvious that he tackled Zay Flowers before the ball got there, and the ref
mhm.
looked right at it, didn't throw the flag. I don't know what he was seeing, but and I guess the Jets just because now you've lost the last 2 games, and
And it's
the
from the
Zach
sounds of it,
Wilson
the
and
divide in the locker room is increasing.
they need a real quarterback like Ryan Tannehill. That's
Or
what they
Trevor
need.
Simeon.
No, they need Ryan Tannehill. They need Ryan Tannehill. They need
Take
to
him,
send
please.
us a
Please
second
take
round
him.
pick for Ryan Tannehill. We wouldn't get that.
I hate the Kirk Cousins talk,
He's not going anywhere.
especially because like I've heard first round pick thrown out, and I'm like absolutely not. You need that for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's an absolute need. And then the Bears loss just killed
You,
Justin
you just
Fields'
can't get
NFL
anything
career.
going if you're the Bears. I mean, you
That was
can't
just the
you
nail in
can't
the
buy
coffin.
an offense. You can't nothing. Yeah.
To me, that was like that whole coaching staff
Yeah.
probably going to get cleaned out. Because to me, if they end up, let's just go through this hypothetical here where they get the 1 and 2
Yeah.
pick. You get to dance that around at every top offensive coordinator. You're like, hey, you want to come here, build with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, Lions offensive coordinator who would probably could have gotten a head coaching job
Which
last round,
with
but you
what
decided to
Carolina's
stay.
doing so far this year, they might just end up with the 1 and 2. So if you say,
Hmm.
hey, you can have Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, any offensive prospect in the league. Like who? Let's
Who's trying
see.
to who turns that down? Also, you
Well,
get a
nobody
couple
turns that
years of
down. They
yeah.
have their pick of who they want. But I mean, what
Mm.
elite offensive coordinator? Like maybe this is an Eric Bieniemy. So granted, Eric Bieniemy did not have a great game against Buffalo.
Yeah,
Didn't exactly
I
call the
would.
best game of his career. But who's Miami's offensive coordinator? Because obviously
I
this is
don't
Mike
know.
McDaniel's offense, but like by proxy, remember the whole Sean McVay thing, where like if you had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay, you're a head coach candidate. I think we might
Yeah,
see something similar with Mike McDaniel in the near future.
probably.
Because Matt LaFleur has been successful, Zach Taylor's been successful. Like we could see something like that.
I like the Lions OC a
Oh,
lot.
Ben John. Oh fuck, I forgot. Yeah, Ben Johnson's looking
That's
for
what I was saying. Like that's why I'm
like
like, hey,
he probably after
you
this season
stayed that
will,
year with
but
Detroit, and you could get rewarded by having a
by
good season with them.
Caleb
Make
and
take
Marvin and this like if you're like Ben Johnson to Chicago might be if you're a Bears fan you might just have hope like very quickly on because you're gonna have two
Oh
top five
yeah,
picks
if you have
and
that,
you're gonna
it's
have Ben
immediate.
Johnson if you know what I mean so like
Or if you end up
there's
with 1 and 2, whoever the third pick is might need a quarterback, and you just kind of dangle that 2 around,
yeah
swap with them, pick up other assets, still get Marvin Harrison
this would
Jr.
that would be that would finally make up for the Mitch Trubisky trade when they traded up one pick and gave up like 5 billion years worth of picks. You know what I mean? Like that would
And weirdly
finally make
enough,
up for
Mitch Trubisky, better quarterback than Justin Fields in the NFL.
yeah. So if you're like desperately trying to get a quarterback, yeah, they might be able to dangle that too. Trade back one spot and still get Marvin Harrison Jr.
But
and
that
get a
would
slew
be,
of picks
oh
in
my
return.
God. Oh
So
my God. Because you would do that, and then you would spend 3 or 4 draft picks on the O line,
yeah,
and because then you would have Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore,
right.
which is nice.
And well, I'm
DJ Moore
sure
is
they
a
would. I'm
2.
sure they would sign more linemen in the free agency.
With how bad they've been, you do both.
Yes. If your line is that bad, you should build both
I'll
ways.
say you do that in the first round. Your second and third round pick are like offensive linemen. The rest of the draft is defense,
Yeah.
and then you sign some of the top guys because they would have. I would imagine. I don't know what their cap space situation is with rookie quarterback. I know you have money. I know you have money.
Yes.
I know you
Granted,
have money.
now they spent a ton this past off season, and it has meant absolutely nothing. But I think they still have a decent amount left.
Yeah, I'd assume. Do you
But
want to move on?
best matchup for the next week is
So I'm gonna have to
our news
scroll, and
segment.
I
I
want to
will
like
too.
when we describe them, maybe talk about what the keys to the
Yeah.
game are, like what the things are, but not pick, and then we'll say it during the picks, like
Right.
kind of maybe lead it in because that's the next segment. So just kind of lead it into it,
Yep. So we've got a
if that
couple
makes sense.
candidates here for sure. I think the first one off the top of my head might be Dolphins Bills.
That is exactly what I'm looking at.
Because the Bills are starting to roll, and of course Miami just hung 70 on Denver. But of course another one, Detroit versus Green Bay. You've got division matchup here between two and one teams, and it's a good test for both of them, I think. So
I was also thinking the same kind of a similar thing with the Bucks and Saints. Both 2-1. What does Jameis look like if he's playing? I'm assuming he is.
revenge game for Jameis.
Can
yeah.
that team stay afloat? That as well. That's a big deal.
Vikings Panthers. We got the toilet bowl already this early in the season. Somebody needs to buy a win over there.
Oh, you think that game's bad? Wait for Broncos Bears.
Yeah. You're right.
But yeah, I think best matchup probably has to be Dolphins Bills
Yep.
because the Dolphins are the best team in
Oh
football
shit!
right
Lions Packers is tomorrow night.
now. Oh, yeah, Thursday night.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be a good fucking game, man.
yeah, that's a good Thursday night.
Oh, we got a London matchup this week.
Yeah,
Falcons
so we
Jags
get
at
to
9:30, which that should be a
yeah,
good
because
one
that's
too.
that's the alternate that has the alternate animated like broadcast.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think that'll be a good one.
Jags in London, dude. You know
Yeah,
they're going
Rams
crazy.
Colts is a fun matchup. You've got two
We got some
offensive
good games.
geniuses at head coach. You've
So
got
let's
Anthony
just
Richardson. You got Matt.
let's just
Well,
focus
assuming he's
on
good, but yeah,
yeah, let's
Bills.
just focus on the
Bills
best
Dolphins.
matchup because since this is going to lead into
Bills
the picks
Dolphins should
afterwards.
probably be, I think,
Yeah.
my preferred here.
Yeah, I mean it's you. I think anytime we do best matchup, it's probably going to end up being divisional games because of how important they are.
Yeah, but especially when they're like two high-powered offenses.
Because you get like the team that's been the best team in the football right now in the Dolphins going up against the team that has dominated their division these past couple years in the
yeah.
Bills.
Basically, since Tom Brady
That's
left.
It's like, hey, are the Dolphins going to be knocking off the Bills here in
Yeah.
terms of like more, longer term this past couple year history?
Yeah.
That'll be an important game, and it's in Buffalo,
Yeah.
which is something.
Definitely
I
something
don't.
to monitor. It sucks
Mm.
that this game. I know it's a bit early in the season to start flexing games, but is Chiefs Jets really worth keeping in that 8 o'clock spot when Dolphins
Nope.
Bills is a game that's on this week? Like, I don't know. That game's gonna be like 20-3 or whatever. It's gonna be the final score of Chiefs Jets. Like, I don't give a shit. Give me Dolphins Bills. But whatever.
Yeah.
Seahawks
Yeah.
Giants Monday night as well. Jesus fucking Christ. The primetime slate this year so far has been brutal.
Well, actually, the NFL, even if they could flex games, they wouldn't because
Yep.
the Chiefs game with everything that's going on with Taylor Swift and
Oh,
Travis
I
Kelsey,
guess yeah.
they
Kansas
would not.
City's still worth the ratings are gonna be huge. It's prime time. It's Taylor Swift. Um, just the impact probably still. I'm sure Swifties will be watching Chiefs games for the rest of the year at least.
Yeah.
But
What a good team to fall into rooting for.
oh my goodness, way to they're spoiled. They're spoiled. That's insane. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
Imagine. I was thinking about like how their relationship would work.
yeah,
Travis and Taylor, like if they were in love and they were a serious relationship, she would just start touring around the football season because Travis, that's when he's going to be locked in and working.
yeah,
She would probably just maybe just not have a show on Sundays,
yeah,
or just kind of, it's because she could also sell tickets extremely fast, so she can see when the schedule comes out,
Yeah.
then fucking plan it. Because then, hey, Monday night football they have, Thursday night football they have, build it
Taylor
around
has
there.
performed in 20 stadiums for her tour. 20
Yeah.
NFL stadiums for her tour, including Nissan. Shout out.
I mean, she did more tours last season than like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have played games together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty absurd. But are we ready to move into the pick segment here?
Yes, sir. And it's so funny that Gabe is not here for this pod because once again,
Yeah.
this man did not pick it. But I did take screenshots to see what games we had picked last week. I took
Right.
screenshots before it disappeared.
I think you beat me.
I beat you that week. We are now tied overall.
Wait a minute. I thought we were tied going into this week. We may have just tied
No,
again.
no, I thought you were up.
I thought we were
after.
tied. I think
Because I think
you
I
were
was up 1 point.
Maybe I was.
I was up 1 point after week 1, but I think you had a significantly better week
hopefully
too.
all season this goes on and we just keep staying
Staying
this close.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Here, let me see my screenshots. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, but I only screenshot of the game, so I don't see our overall score.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll just pull up CBS picks. Cute men. Yeah, so we're both tied at 27.
Yeah.
Oh, we were tied. Oh, because I remember I know why my brain's thinking that. Because going into the last game, you were up 1. That's why my brain thought that you were up 1, and I got it right. That's what it was.
So
Yeah,
where are
so
we
we're
at
both
now?
tied because last week
We're
we,
tied.
we both had San Francisco. We got that right, and then oh wait, I'm not seeing who's who.
That's
I think
okay.
you were up top at first. Let me see.
I think everybody picked. I mean, did anybody even pick the Giants? That should have been 100% to 0.
Let's see. We both picked it. I picked Detroit. Right? You picked Atlanta?
I did pick Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay, so now I know who. Yeah, so now I know who each were. So I was right about Detroit. We were both right about Buffalo. We were both right about Miami. We were both wrong about Jacksonville.
Yes.
I was right about Indy.
Yes.
I called that one.
You did.
And you were like, oh, and I was like, gotta call some shots.
You're right. And yeah,
Called it.
That was a good one to take as well because I understood why.
I was like, hey, yeah, they're injured up. I think Gardner Minshew can dot up an injured secondary. We were both wrong about Minnesota. We were
picked
so
the
close to
Chargers.
being right.
I thought you picked the Chargers.
No,
But I guess not. No. I don't
I'm not
remember.
picking Herbert.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
We were both
Just
we were
kidding.
both right about New England.
Yes.
You were right about Green Bay.
Yes.
So fucking close. If Derek Carr didn't get hurt.
And I almost changed my pick because what do you call it? Like they had some offensive line injuries, and Aaron Jones still was out. Like I almost changed it, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I was rolling with Green Bay.
And then we were both wrong about Tennessee. That's a
Yes,
tough one.
that's
We
a
were both
tough one for me to swallow personally.
we were both right about Seattle. We were both right about Kansas City. We were
Yep.
both wrong about Dallas. That one
Yep.
hurt. And then this is because you had a run here. You were right about Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I was wrong. You were right about Philly. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's anyways, and then
We
I
both
was
got
right
a
about
little. We
Cincinnati.
both got a little promiscuous with some of our picks, and I think it bit us in
Yeah,
the ass. But
yeah,
but
but yeah, and then I was right about Cincinnati.
yeah, it's true. You were right about Cincinnati, which
But I did say Burrow would have to play.
it's not good that Cincinnati is getting it right before they play the Titans, but because it doesn't bode well for us. We're 0-3 against Burrow in the Burrow era, so we'll see.
Even with some, yeah. Let's get into
This week,
this week's picks.
I have
So
correctly picked every Packers game so far this year. I'm 3 for 3. I picked their
I'm
only
picking.
loss. I picked Atlanta, and I've picked them to beat Bears. I picked them to beat the Saints. I am picking them again to beat Detroit this week.
I am picking Detroit.
I figured you would. That's okay.
It's a tough one, but I'll go with Detroit. And then I think for Falcons versus the Jags, I think Jags correct a little
See, I
bit,
think
and
I want to
they get
pick a
this.
get back game for
And it's in
Jacksonville.
London.
I don't want to pick. Yeah, it's their second home. I just don't want to pick
But it's
Atlanta
also
to
Kyle
lose.
Pitts in London.
You're right. Well, okay. Kyle Pitts with Arthur Smith, though. I don't know.
But wasn't he?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying in general, Kyle Pitts and Arthur Smith. He hates him for some.
But
fucking
wasn't it like
reason,
his
but
only touchdown was
I don't
not
know.
in America?
I don't know, man. I think it's a
I'm
get
picking
back game
Jags.
for Jacksonville. I just don't like picking Atlanta to lose 2 games in a row because I still think this division is theirs. But I'm gonna go Jacksonville. I think they get it back.
And then Ravens at the
I'm
Browns.
not picking Cleveland to win a football game. Fuck
Neither am
Cleveland
I.
after this last
Also,
week.
I think the Ravens win a low scoring affair.
I think this is they'll figure something out.
And
Cleveland's
then I'm gonna.
defense, man, though, it's like
It's really good.
Jim Schwartz is
It's really good.
in his bag this year.
But speaking of defenses that are starting to, but Brown started to hit the ground running, but
Yeah.
good defenses with a top defensive coordinator. Bengals at the Titans.
Lou
Give me the
Anarumo
Bengals.
versus Shane Bowen. Yeah, I'm also picking the Bengals. Until
Oh, wow.
we beat them, I'm not picking us to beat the Bengals.
Fair.
I've been burned too many times on that.
And then Broncos at Bears.
I don't care.
I know
To
this
be
is so
honest, I
weird
don't
because it's
care.
like
I
there
don't-
could be
I
there's
don't
probably going to be
care.
one game this season where they just unleash Justin Fields rushing and he runs them to a victory, and it could happen at any week. But I think I'm going to stick with the Broncos.
I think
'cause-
it's hilarious no matter what this outcome is for the losing team because it's Sean Payton starting out 0-4 or it's the Bears starting out 0-4 after what everybody predicted them to do this year.
it's the Broncos starting off 0-4 without a first round pick as well.
Yeah, it would be brutal. At least for the Bears, you'd have
It's the-
hope.
And you're like, well, the other first round pick we have is also looking like really good.
I think at
But,
some point, I think the problem this year so far has been I think Sean Payton just kind of walked into this job and assumed he would do significantly better than Nathaniel Hackett, and
I think he has offensively.
But
I think the Broncos'
well,
problem is defense now. All of a
Well,
sudden,
because they replaced Ojiro Evero with Vance Joseph. I feel like the Broncos should have learned the first time they employed Vance Joseph that this guy is not it.
but since their problem is defense and they're playing the Bears with an abysmal offense, I think that cancels out. I'm going with the Broncos.
I think I'm gonna go with Denver as well, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
But now this is a tough game to predict.
Rams at Colts. I think is it trending towards Anthony Richardson playing?
I would
That's
imagine
important.
so. Concussions
Me
aren't
too.
normally a 2-week ordeal. It's typically a 1 week, and especially when they happen during a game. Like if it happens like in practice, they might miss 2 games. But it happened during the game 2 weeks ago. Like Amani Hooker came back after just missing 1 game. I think Anthony Richardson comes back.
I think if the Rams were coming off a win, but the game still looked like how it did versus the Bengals, I'd pick the Colts. But just when teams, especially that have good quarterbacks, come off a loss,
And good coaches as well. Yeah.
good coach and good quarterback coming off a loss, it's hard to pick against. But I also
Yeah.
fucking really like what the Colts are doing this season.
This is a tough
This
one.
is
to
a
pick.
tough one.
Because
This is a tough one.
no matter how this goes, like I'm gonna feel good about. But like the Rams starting 1-3, I'd still feel good about them as a team. It'd just be tough to think about like their season
Playoffs.
projection because they still have to play Well, they play Arizona twice, but Arizona's playing a lot harder than I thought they would this year. So I don't know. We'll see. But
I'll go with the Rams. Fuck it. It's just 50-50 for me.
I think I'm gonna pick Indy
I
in
think
this one. But
pending
I
big
don't feel
injury
I don't
news.
feel good about it. I still feel like the
Yeah.
Ram, like you said, like if had the Rams won last week, I'd be picking Indy for sure. But because the
Yeah.
Rams lost, I feel like they're
And
gonna have to
if
get it back. So
and if AR doesn't play, you can switch
yeah,
if you
for
feel
sure.
like you
If
want
if,
to.
if he's ruled out, I'll probably switch. But granted, they just beat Baltimore without him. So
Yeah, but I don't know.
all
But
right,
now here's another.
this is the game.
I think this is
Our
another
best
tough one to
matchup.
pick. Game of the week. Our game of the week here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Dolphins at Bills.
I don't feel confident necessarily, but I'm picking
I
Miami.
I I want to unconfidently pick the Bills.
I do too, but I
I
can't
just
do it. They just put up 70 fucking points. I mean, this
I
offense is
I
absurd.
think I think we get a Josh Allen dog game.
I think so too.
So I think I am gonna go Bills,
I think I
and
think
it's tough.
I think we
This is
do
one
get.
I'll hit myself over if the Dolphins win
So
because
I
it's
think you're right. I think we do get one of those kind of like vintage Josh Allen performances in a good way, not in the
yeah
like rookie season kind of way, but
yeah
like one of those like four
yeah
touchdown
vintage probably
games or
not the word to
whatever.
use with him.
No, not necessarily, but like we get one of those like one of those games where he reminds us that his best day is better than anyone else's best day. But I still think Miami wins this one. I think they're rolling too much offensively. And the defense too. I mean, Vic
Yeah.
Fangio's got them right.
That's the other
The
thing.
defense
That's the
only
thing.
allowed 13 points because again there was a kick return touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
The defense only allowed 13 points, even though they were scoring so much. There were so many defensive drives.
Mhm.
The Broncos still couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I underestimated the Dolphins' defense,
Yep.
and that's the biggest thing that's making my prediction of their team wrong.
Yep.
Um, I just didn't account for Vic Fangio being really fucking good.
Yep.
But I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go Bills.
Yeah, I think regardless of how this game ends, I think you like it's tough to make your pick. It's tough to like you're gonna feel bad if you're wrong because you're like fuck I could have easily picked the other one. And
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be
with you.
one of
If
those.
if the Bills win this game, and I think they very well could, obviously, like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I could have absolutely seen this coming, and I should have picked them, but whatever.
But now the
It's just
battle
for
of the
fun.
0 and 3s. We have the Vikings at the Panthers.
Um, I'm gonna pick Minnesota again.
I'm with you.
I don't want to, but
I
I
need to
mean,
know who's quarterbacking. I don't remember. I can't remember why Bryce Young didn't play.
I think Bryce plays this week.
Yeah. Uh, and as much as I still think Bryce will have a good career,
I think he'll
they
have a
need to get
great
that.
career.
They need to get that. I think he'll have a good one. But
Interesting.
they need to get that offensive line fixed.
And the wide
and
receiver room needs some work too. Granted, they played well last week for the most part, but he needs some more help all around. They need a running game
Well,
too.
hey,
Miles Sanders has been playing like boiled ass.
I'm not surprised.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
know
either.
why.
I'm not either. He has
I'm
some of
I'm
the
not
worst
high on Miles
vision
Sanders.
in the league. And again, I think
Yeah.
I like what DeAndre Swift is doing this year. But again, if he was on most other teams, we wouldn't be seeing what he's doing right now because it's just that Eagles' run game is so like one. It's the best offensive line in the league. So I mean, I could run for a few touchdowns at least over the length of a season behind that Eagles offensive line. Um, but Miles Sanders, yeah, like being exposed rightfully as the fraud that he is because he's just not very good.
Even with the
So
Eagles offensive line, he had that season where he like had no touchdowns.
yeah, well, granted, his usage wasn't it was weird that year, but
But there's a reason. If
yeah,
you're
there's a reason his usage.
if they're
was,
questioning using you when you're being blocked by the Eagles
yeah,
offensive line, that's a problem. But yeah, so we'll move on to
Pittsburgh
Steelers at
Houston.
Texans.
This
After what they did last week and seeing the Steelers offense, I know that CJ Stroud is a rookie
yeah.
and he's going up against a really good defense, but he's really good to start the year. I'm gonna go with CJ Stroud and the Texans.
I think just due to how battered Houston's offensive line is, and also that
Fair.
every rookie quarterback is bound to have this experience at some point during I think this is the welcome to the NFL game in the not good way for CJ Stroud. But like you said, like I certainly feel good about what Houston's doing this year so far.
Oh
In
yeah.
fact, I feel good about every team's future in the AFC South except Tennessee. Uh, so,
And that could switch pretty quickly if
yeah.
you throw Will Levis and
Put Levis in the fucking game. But Yeah,
Also,
I
because
love.
even if he's bad, you're losing games.
Yeah, and
You get a pick.
you get Drake
But if
May, you
Vrabel's
get
not
Michael
gonna
Penix,
fucking
but yeah, I'm gonna say Pittsburgh just because this pass rush is incredible and the Houston
yeah
offensive line. I know Stroud has been very good under pressure and he's
yeah.
in
If
general he's
Stroud
been
gets
good at getting the ball out quick,
yeah
but I think at some point something's got to give if your O line's playing
yeah,
if your O line's
this
this
could be
banged
a
up.
game where I see Stroud get sacked 8
Yeah, that's
times,
what
and
I'm
I'm like,
saying. Like
well,
I
fuck,
think
I should have.
this is going to be his welcome to the NFL moment right here, and
Yeah
in the way that you don't like to see it. And I think this is where we get it. Just because
yeah.
it's a phenomenal pass rush going against an injured offensive line, you're going to see. I think we're going to see some sacks in this game on Stroud. No,
Oh
I
yeah.
think this will be a low scoring affair
Um,
because of it. But I don't know.
I could see if I think it's I could see the Texans blowing out the Steelers just because. And when I say
Absolutely,
blowing, just
yeah,
by margin of
yeah.
not
I
not.
agree.
I don't think they put up 40, but
Like
it's
I said,
more of the Steelers putting up
I
6.
could very easily be wrong about
Hmm.
my like because like what like if Houston's pass pro holds up in this game, the Texans win. I just
Yeah.
don't. I think at some point something's got to give.
But I think you could also CJ Stroud. I think he's a smart enough quarterback where they could just scheme up some stuff of him just getting at the ball out quick.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
I think they move it. But yeah,
I'm with
let's
you.
move on to the battle of the NFC South with the Bucks at the Saints.
I've got Tampa. If Derek Carr is not playing, even if Derek Carr was playing, I'd probably
I
pick
know
Tampa in this game.
because I think even with the loss, I kind of liked what I saw from the Tampa's defense, and that was without Carlton Davis, I think, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I like. I don't know.
Eh,
I feel better
This is a
about
tough
Tampa
one.
now than I did earlier. Of course, before the season when I thought they'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm picking Tampa to beat New Orleans. I think I don't feel.
Kamara comes back this game, and I
Oh,
think that
you're
does
right.
help out with the Saints.
You're right.
I think I'm
You're
going to
seeing
go
him in the
with
pass game for sure.
Jameis fired up against his old team,
Yeah, no, you're right. That's fair.
and Chris Olave. I mean, if there's one thing Jameis can do, Shaheed. I might be saying it wrong, but
No, you got it.
one thing Jameis can do is fucking chuck that thing. And he's got he's got
notorious.
2 receivers that
Can go
that
deep.
complement him fucking chucking it very well.
You know,
So I'm gonna go with the Saints. I know I'm trying to beat you, so I should not
I
explain
hear you.
as
Like,
well. But
I kind of like your analogy. I kind of forgot Kamara was coming back. He posted something really funny on Instagram, that Drewski video where it was like, when your friend gets out of prison or whatever, and it was Kamara, Kamara getting
it's
out
because
of
I got him in
jail.
fantasy. So
Fuck. I don't know. This is a tough one, but I think I'm gonna stick with Tampa. I don't feel good about it though.
yeah.
All right, this one I feel a little better about. I think Washington drops another one here against Philly, but
I mean, Washington was the first team they had lost to last year,
yes,
and I know that he looked bad last week.
I still feel good about how overall.
Me, yeah, that's where I'm bringing this to. If this was in Washington, I would pick the Commanders.
Yeah.
Side note: did you see that they're getting sued?
Yes.
Yeah, because I sent that to the.
Well,
I sent that to the. You probably saw it elsewhere as well. But
yeah,
I
I've
sent it
seen
to
it a
the
few
group chat.
times now, but I think that I've heard something about that organization that's suing them. Apparently, they're not like a real Native American organization or something like. I don't have to look into it more. I don't want to like spread like too much like misinformation here if I'm like just talking out my ass, but I don't know.
How are you a real one? Do you
I
just
don't,
mean
I
they're
don't, I
white
don't,
people? Or?
I don't know what it. I'll have to look into it. Like I said, I heard like very basic synopsis, but there's like something weird about.
I've heard the
this.
sentiment that they're expressing though
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. I
But
have too.
anyways, but name
But also, I've
stuff
heard
aside.
the other sentiment as well. So it's like damned if you
Yeah.
do, damned if you don't, and it's
Well, when the
what are you
whole
supposed to do.
I'll say it just for the conversation when they were renaming from Redskins, the whole conversation, it just felt like it was like this might be because I'm white myself. This might just be dumb to say, but it just felt like it was like just white people arguing with each other over it.
A lot of it was.
It was just
yeah,
like
I
white
think
women saying it's offensive, and then old white men being like, "I don't give a damn."
That's built for tough.
I've
Yeah.
been rooting for that fucking team with that same fucking mascot for years. I don't want your liberal hands touching that mascot.
Fucking
Your
pussy. Yeah.
Yeah, your fucking soft, girly little liberal hands stroking that big, strong Native American away from me. Let him go. You want to grab somebody? Grab me with those girly, dainty, lotioned up hands. Because you're not doing the hard work like I
Did I
am.
send you that video of the guy working on the engine where he
I
was like, if your hands don't look like this, if you have soft, dainty.
I've seen it, but the one that I always think of is the you want my guns? Come and take it with your soft, girly, liberal hands. Put your hands on the gun. Put your hands on me. Put your hands on me.
That reminds me of the video where it was like, and now the government want us to get gay married. They're not gonna make you get gay married.
I fucking love that.
Too late. I already married my buddy Zeke.
And they kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the government's making us do.
All right,
They
we gotta
get
go
into
to
the
mosque.
house.
Yeah, we gotta go to mosque,
Like,
honey.
I
What do
see
you
you
mean
got.
mosque? You're Muslim
You still have the
now?
gun rack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got made us get rid of the guns. They don't want you having guns when you have kids in the house. You have a kid? It's Asian
Yeah.
girl comes
We
running
adopted
in.
one. Yeah,
I love my dads. They speak Mandarin to her.
They're actually like really good parents too, which is the
I
funny
know.
thing. Like that was actually just a really wholesome like family dynamic
know.
they had going on. Like
I fucking love that video.
that's one of my
dude.
favorite videos ever, man. But anyways, Chargers Raiders. Oh, actually, are we done with the Washington Eagles?
Oh,
or-
I didn't pick. I couldn't bring
Okay.
myself to pick.
I picked Philly, but I don't feel like super confident. But I just think
If there was an upset of the week, this is what I would probably think. But
yes,
I would feel so dumb picking the Commanders and then seeing them get blown out. So I'm just going to play it safe and I'll go with the Eagles. But just know that my heart is with the Commanders.
yep.
But then Raiders at Chargers.
Do I do the funny thing here? I kind of want to do the funny thing.
I kind of want to.
I kind of want
I
to do
kind
the
of
funny
want the
thing.
Raiders.
I'm gonna do the funny thing.
What's the funny
I'm
thing?
picking the Raiders. I'm doing the funny thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's necessarily funny
No,
because
I
the
just-
Chargers.
I-
It's like two teams that haven't looked good. So it's like,
I'm
is
gonna
it
be
even really?
honest with you. I don't give a shit about like Western Division football. Like once the clock hits 4, I turn the TV off. Like I don't give a fuck. If I'm being
You're on the
completely
East
honest.
Coast, like, dude, I gotta fucking go to
Yeah,
bed.
like I'm already thinking about going to work the next day. You know what I mean? If once it hits 4, like I'm like I would be home by now if this was a work day. Like I gotta think about like I gotta shower, I gotta meal prep, I gotta I gotta
yeah,
I gotta get ready for bed. I gotta feed the cat, whatever. Like
I hate to root against people. It just doesn't feel right for me. But I'm just gonna root against Brandon Staley at this point.
I do like
Going
rooting
Raiders.
against bad football, and that's what Brandon Staley provides. I think at the end, I don't like calling for people's jobs or whatever. But at the end of the day, like if you like you're in the entertainment business as much as you are in the sports business, and if your
Yeah.
product is not entertaining, like you need to go. And that's such a like a. You know what I mean? Like I hate. To
Also,
be that
the
guy
thing
that's such
is-
a capitalist way of viewing things, and I don't like
Which
that.
is-
But
I think it's
you
fine
know.
because also you've gotten to that point. You have friends in this business. You have connections.
Right.
You are intelligent, so you'll
He's
land on
going
your
to
feet
be
somewhere.
on a defensive coaching staff somewhere. Like, it's not like he's not gonna be able to feed his family. That's what.
Also-
I laugh when people say shit like that. But like,
With him being like this analytics darling with how he goes for it on fourth down,
yeah,
he could be on a TV show somewhere talking football.
yes,
People would want to hear it.
he's plenty
He'll be
smart
fine.
enough. Like he's not
Yeah.
he's not an idiot. He's just not a good
Anybody
coach.
that has reached that level is smart in football. It's
Yes.
just, are you smart compared to these other geniuses in football?
Yes.
His case, no, he's not.
Yeah. Well, remember he was with Sean McVay, so maybe some of that Sean McVay juiciness rubbed off on him. So, because Sean McVay was thinking about doing television at one point recently. So
Yeah, which
Maybe.
was so interesting. But
I'd love to see it still after he retires.
would.
I really desperately want to see him be like a color commentator or something. Cardinals 49ers. I'm not gonna do the funny thing here, although it's possible.
you just got to go Niners.
Though I don't know what the spread is on this game. I think Arizona covers.
View matchup analytics. I wonder if it'll show the spread. What?
It is.
Hold on.
Wait,
That
no,
cannot
no, it
be
doesn't.
right.
Oh wait, yeah, it does. They're
That cannot be
they're
right.
minus 14.
That cannot. That's what I'm saying. That can't be right.
Yeah, Cardinals are gonna cover for sure.
If that's the case, they're covering.
Yes.
How did it get? I get that people think the Niners are better than the Cowboys,
I've
and right now they are.
yeah,
But it was 12.5. The Cowboys were favored by 12.5. The Cardinals win. The next week they're underdogs 14
probably
points.
because San Francisco just beat the ever living shit out of the Giant, but like so did the Cowboys.
I
So
didn't even think. I think the score is a bigger beatdown than the actual game was between
yeah,
the Niners and Giants.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
because like first and second down, the Giants were doing a really good job.
Yeah,
But then third down happened. That was so fucking annoying to see.
yep. Um, Cowboys Patriots. I wonder who we might both be picking to win this game. I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are too.
The
Obviously.
Patriots' chance of winning went out the door when the Cardinals won. The type of win that the Patriots could have had, the Cardinals just had.
Yes.
They're not getting that. That's not happening 2 weeks in
Yeah.
a row.
Cowboys are bouncing
The
back for
the
sure.
like, hey, scrappy team that's gonna work hard, a team that's versus a team that's overlooking them.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a 24-10 type of game or whatever. Like this is not gonna be a what's in fact what's the over under on this game?
Mm,
43. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's probably gonna be under that though. I think I might bet the under on this game. I feel pretty good about it.
yeah, probably just because I think Dallas's defense is probably very embarrassed from their performance last week that they're
Yeah.
going to be coming out fucking
Yeah,
hard.
I think well, that's the hallmark of a good team is can you bounce back after a tough loss? Because like you said, everybody gets one a year. You're allowed to have one really ugly loss every year, but if you can bounce back the next week, especially like that's the hallmark of a good team. If you just come out and look,
Yeah.
can get yourself
Yeah.
right, which I think they will. Chiefs Jets. Um, I
I
don't.
wonder what we should pick.
Kansas City, and the Jets are going to lose every game until they trade for Ryan Tannehill. Please trade for Ryan Tannehill.
I
I'm begging you, trade for Ryan Tannehill. Please trade for
God,
Ryan Tannehill.
I feel bad for Zach because I think he could have benefited greatly from a year sitting behind Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's not fair for Robert Saleh. It's not fair for Zach Wilson. It's not fair for this defense. It's not fair for Brees Hall. Like it's not fair for anybody involved. But at the same time, like this is why you have the jobs that you do. You know, like this is why Robert Saleh is a head coach in the league. He's supposed to figure this kind of thing out. But it's just
Yeah.
it is brutal. Just a brutal outcome for the season because you never know what you could have been had Aaron. And it's almost like Robert Saleh was in year 3 at this point. It's time to make the playoffs. But at the same time, like, does he have another year because his defense is still really good? So he's holding up his end of the bargain, being brought in
He
as a
gets the
defensive
year.
guy, and he
I
doesn't
think he
have
gets
Aaron
it.
Rodgers this year. So it's an issue of like
Hmm.
I feel like normally you fire a coach 3 years if he doesn't make the playoffs, but I feel like Saleh has a better excuse than just about anybody
How?
has
Hold
the
on.
last few years.
How is the spread closer for Chiefs Jets than it is for Niners Cardinals?
Probably because the Jets defense is like that good. But I mean, the Cardinals are playing, with a lot of like
Dogs.
they're out
Fire in their gut.
overachieving for you. You got that fire in your gut. That sounds like something you'd say after you have Taco Bell or something.
We thought they weren't connecting, but apparently they all were sitting there like, yeah, I got that fucking fire in my gut.
I'll fucking show you, man,
I'm gonna show you the fire in my fucking gut.
with my soft, dainty, liberal hand.
Okay, Mur. Now actually turn the Cardinals around.
Okay, we're now upset the Dallas Cowboys.
Fuck.
All right.
All right. Seahawks, Giants. This is the Monday night game.
Daniel Jones is 1-8 in primetime in his career, or 1-9. Some
Question:
shit like that.
Does Saquon play? Because apparently it's more on the table than originally thought when he got injured.
I'm still picking Seattle. The Giants' primetime record has been abysmal since.
I'm not gonna feed into the primetime record, and I will pick the
Yes.
Giants to win
I
this
thought
game.
about no, I shit you not. I was thinking Giants until I remembered the primetime record, and then I said no.
To me, I'm like, that's such a bad record, and I'm like, either has to be some stuff to it,
God.
one and whatever.
Yeah.
Because also you're playing good teams.
Yes.
Prime time.
I
So
know.
I'm going with the Giants.
I know the what was I gonna say? I know the Giants are a huge brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, do they really need this many primetime games every year?
Money sells, man, and also because it's like this is a team that made the play. You got to think this is a team that made the playoffs,
Oh yeah,
won a
you're right.
playoff game,
They did make the playoffs.
improved on
last year.
paper.
Yeah, I think the rest of the conference just improved too, for the most part.
Yeah.
That's probably what. But I think that's it for the picks. this
Yeah,
week.
that's all of them.
So there we go.
Um,
Hell yeah.
fantasy football check-in.
I'm 2-1. I got back. I won. Got
I
back
am
on board.
also 2-1 in both my leagues,
What
and
about
I
your
know
third league?
it's. I was literally
You
about to say.
gave
So
up?
people are probably wondering, Brayden, aren't you in 3 leagues? I'm not talking about that league
You give
anymore
up? You give up at 1 and 2?
because Aaron Jones has been hurt. Nick Chubb got
Okay.
hurt. It fucked me.
Yeah.
I'm checked out.
So I still had
But
DeAndre Swift on my bench this week.
do you know what's
I
crazy?
forgot to put him in my starting lineup once again. I didn't. I've benched Madison, by the way. I've benched Madison for Swift at this point. Madison's gonna
Oh
be on the
yeah,
bench.
I dropped Madison.
Yeah, I might within the next week or two if he doesn't pick it up.
But you know what's crazy?
What's
The
crazy?
league that I'm in with Gabe.
Yep.
I am the only one who put a waiver wire claim in for Devon A-Chain.
Oh wow.
I sat there and I was like, guys, what the fuck are we doing? And I was also only one of 2 people to put in a claim for Tank Dell.
He's not gonna perform that well every week, of course, because the main
No,
reason he got that many carries is because Mostert got sad, of course, after he put 4 touch. But A-Chain's gonna get more involved
more
as the year
involved. And
goes
it's
on.
like, okay, yeah, he's not going to have 50 points,
No.
but can he get 20 again? Yeah.
Can he average like 12, 13? I think
Also,
so.
I dropped Roshan Johnson for him.
I think
I dropped someone in the Bears.
At this point, yeah, it's
It's
tough.
not even his fault.
I still like Roshan for like dynasty
100%.
leagues.
Oh,
But
100%.
like in fantasy for this year, for not in a dynasty league, I think at this point it might be time to give up on, because
Yeah.
they don't want to fucking play him.
Okay. So I'm going to say what happened. I think I was the second leading scorer in both of these leagues. And it's like by a point difference for both of them. Because in the league that I'm in with Gabe, I had wide receiver 1 and 2 of the week.
Yeah.
I had Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen.
Yep.
Bijan Robinson and Jameer Gibbs both kind of disappointed, but it's fine. Lamar Jackson had like 2 rushing touchdowns, so that was huge for me. So I won that one, and then
Yep.
that's the one with Gabe in it, and then the other one. Go back here. What happened here? I had Jefferson, who put up just shy of 40. I had Tank Dell, who put up just shy of 35.
Yep.
Justin Fields, who is no longer on the roster. I've decided to drop him
I think that's a perfectly fine decision.
because Anthony Richardson is coming back, I think, and also I was able to pick up Brock Purdy,
Nice.
so I feel fine with that. Zach Moss, I was able to get another week of good production out of him. I don't know how much longer that's going to last.
I think at this point,
And-
with how well Zach Moss is playing, I think you mentioned this. You might as well just trade JT.
I did,
Builds.
and
Yeah.
I still have him, so we'll see. And then I did just make a trade in this league, and I'll give the details. I gave up Chris Olave and Jordan Addison,
Okay.
and I received Raheem Mostert and Puka Nakua.
Okay. Do you need running back help?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a good trade.
I would. The
And
biggest reason I
Puka's a
wanted to
PPR
do it,
machine as well, so that's good.
yeah, the biggest reason I wanted to do it is because I am still worried about Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Going forward, and then Aaron Jones. I need this man to be healthy.
Yeah.
But
Did you
yeah,
draft
I-
Jones in multiple leagues?
Yeah.
Tragic.
I've survived
You'd be
one,
alright.
one
Yeah.
of the leagues I did it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Justin Fields is gone. So now the team for this week is going to be Anthony Richardson at quarterback.
I also put him back in my lineup.
Sam, yeah, got to.
Got to, yeah.
And then Kyron Williams, Aaron Jones are my running backs. Jefferson, Jalen Waddle should be coming back. And this league, like, it also, you get extra points if it's like long plays.
Oh, okay.
So Jalen Waddle coming back,
Oh, it's huge.
huge. Jalen Waddle. I got Luke Musgrave at tight end in the other league.
Yep.
I'll run through that league. I'll run through that one as well. And then Brandon Ayuk is going to be playing. And then when this trade finalizes, Raheem Mostert will be the other flex. And then Justin Tucker as my kicker. And then Saints defense. And then the other league, it's Anthony Richardson again. Bijan and Jameer Gibbs. I think they bounced back from their poor fantasy weeks. I didn't watch the games. And then Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen are carrying this team, which is beautiful. Luke Musgrave is tight end in this league as well.
Yeah,
I'm benching Waller until further notice.
good.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
it's
But then
brutal.
Alvin Kamara and Devon A-Chain are my flexes right now. Alvin Kamara coming back, PPR league.
Yeah, yeah. He'll
Especially
be he'll
with
be a PPR machine. He always is.
especially because they're not getting much from their running backs otherwise. And then Jamal Williams, I think, got put on
Is
IR.
didn't is Kendra Miller been active the last couple of weeks? I know he missed week 1. I don't know if he's played at all the
I
last
think
2
he's
weeks.
played. I
Okay,
believe he's played.
but I mean, if they're not getting a whole, obviously Kamara's a starter. There's no
Yeah.
ands, ifs, or buts about it.
And then Carlson's my kicker, and then I have the Bengals defense this week just because I don't respect Ryan Tannehill at the current moment.
I don't you don't I you shouldn't respect this offense at all. Like they're gonna get
Yeah.
sacks for sure. Because Skoronski's probably not gonna be back this week, which is unfortunate. But again, like I said, I don't want him to get sepsis and die. So I'm okay with him resting another week or two if he needs to. He'll probably be back next week, which is nice because we'll need him for sure. I think next week is the London game against the Ravens. I think it's in London, pretty sure. Week 5, we played the Baltimore in London. But yeah, for my lineup, I got Richardson in, I got McCaffrey in,
Mm.
I got Swift, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, who I think will again have a get back game.
I need him to bounce back. If I
Um,
want to talk about that league again, I need him to
yeah,
bounce back.
got Luke Musgrave at tight end, Drake London in my flex. Again, Madison's on the bench. Burks
Mm.
is questionable, and also Burks just hasn't been able to get going this year because our offense sucks. Put
Yeah,
Levis
not
in.
his fault.
And we need an O line. We need a real quarterback back there. And Tim Kelly as well called his worst game of the season so far against.
Hmm.
And Traylon got open deep once, and Tannehill just overcooked it, as he so often does on these deep balls. He hit a couple last week, but man. And then I got the Eagles defense, and then Riley Patterson. So I feel good about this week. I'm going against Jordan Love, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson, Debo Samuel, Chigo Conquo. He's still starting Chig? Oh, Gerald Everett's questionable, I guess. That might be the only reason. Dalvin Cook, Cincy defense. Oh, yeah. This guy's got Cincy defense. And he's got Jake Moody. So, alright. Well, yeah, there we go. That's my fantasy
Yeah.
thingies.
I I I feel really good about my teams. The two
Yep.
teams that I'm going to talk about. I really feel like they genuinely have chances to win it all.
Yep.
In both leagues is because they're getting carried by their wide receivers right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it's college football time. This one's going to be pretty brief. But
So I'll talk about the A&M stuff first.
yeah, you guys
just for a
talk
second,
about the Connor
just because
Wakeman stuff.
I barely tune in, and I actually tuned in a little bit to this game. I tuned in the second half after Connor went down. I was like, okay, I'll just take a quick peek and see what this Max Johnson guy's about. And I just see this motherfucker flip 30 air yards for a touchdown.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck? Where's this been?
Yep.
Because it's just for that game in particular,
Yeah.
nothing was happening on offense in the first round, and I'm just like, how is A&M not a better team with the quarterbacks that we have? Because we apparently we have two good quarterbacks.
The answer
like
is
Connor,
Jimbo Fisher.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Upsetting answer, but yeah, because Connor has been like one of the top rated PFF quarterbacks in college. Like he has an over 90 grade,
He's been really good.
and PFF isn't the Bible, but I do have respect for their grades.
Well, and in general, I mean, you just watch the games. Wegman's been playing well. It's just
Yeah.
it sucks that he's out for the rest of the year with, I think it's a foot, right? It's a foot injury.
Yep.
At least it's not like an arm injury. It's not like his throwing arm or whatever, But it's not
It's
a
just
knee thing.
we're gonna
so
beat Bama. And I say that just because it's weird. A&M has done this thing where it's like they drop two games against teams they absolutely should not lose to, and then beat Bama.
Fair enough.
And I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
Um,
I'd rather us win the two games that we're supposed to,
yeah.
and like lose to Bama because fuck it, it's Bama. I can sleep at night losing
Well,
to Bama.
beating Bama this year doesn't mean as much as it used to. Just
Yeah,
because
that's true.
they haven't been themselves. They barely. I mean, they struggled versus USF. It was like 17
Because their
to
strength
3.
coach went to Georgia.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I haven't, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, because like when he was there, like their strength coach was there, like when this current Alabama like Saban stuff kind of started
Yeah.
kicking off, and he still got so many rings there, and then he switches over to Georgia, and that's when Georgia fucking picks up.
Yeah.
So it's not Saban, it's
No.
this man.
What I watched Ohio State versus Notre Dame. This game came down to the wire. It was a
Yep.
defensive matchup. Like it was, the score was 3-0 at the half, and the game ended like 17-14. I think, or yeah, 17-14. Ohio State won. They converted, I think, a 4th and 7 on their last drive to get into the red zone, and then they scored a rushing touchdown with 1 second left on the clock, and then Notre Dame. There was a penalty kick, I think, or something like that. I don't remember what happened. I think it may have been a penalty kick on, because I think they tried to squib, but it went to the sideline. So um, penalty kick. So Notre Dame gets the ball at the 40. They tried some like lateral voodoo. It didn't work. Of course, it was didn't even get started really much. It didn't look very good at any time. And then, I mean, it was tough because I've been cheering hard for Notre Dame this year. I'm a big Sam Hartman fan. I love what he's done in college football since I think he's entering like the top 10 in most passing statistics now in terms of like college football career. So like, shout out Sam Hartman. Um, Not necessarily like an NFL guy. Like he'll get drafted, but not
Yeah.
necessarily like a. He's a
More of a
six-year
Stetson Bennett.
senior. Yeah, maybe 4th round is about where he'll go. I think he'll be a day 3 guy, but
It's like, hey, this could be a good backup. He'll immediately probably be a grown man compared to like other.
he's got a decent arm too. It's not like he's not like he can't throw or anything. You know, he's fine, and I think a backup role will be good for him in the league. But in general, a guy I've been rooting for a long time. I loved him at Wake Forest. In fact, Sam Hartman's Wake Forest versus Kenny Pickett's Pittsburgh is at the ACC championship game a couple years ago. Is one of my favorite college football games. That's when Kenny Pickett did the fake slide. If you remember that
Oh,
play,
okay.
the
Yeah, of
the
course.
play that was so
Immediately
insane
got banned.
that they immediately banned it from
Yeah,
ever
I
happening
love
again.
that.
Yeah,
That's what got that man drafted.
that was one of the coldest plays in football history. I think just the fake, like, and again, like
And you,
I'm glad we'll never see it again for a multitude
yeah,
of reasons.
I
For
think
one,
that's what
it's
lets you enjoy it.
yeah, we'll never
You're
see
like,
it
this
again.
was fun. Thank God it's not happening again. But since it's never
Because
happening
they
again, you
shouldn't
can
be
enjoy
allowed
it.
to do that. But
Yeah.
because
No,
he
absolutely.
was one time, like I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good
It's-
about it. So
Yeah.
that was nice. That was good to see. But yeah, Tennessee beat UTSA. Surprised everyone, I'm sure. But Joe Milton
Hey,
still.
I went to UTSA for a year and a half. All right,
Hey,
those are
man.
my baby. Those are my
Yeah,
go birds.
shout out San Antonio, the city in general. But
I'm back.
yes, sir. But Joe Milton still the deep ball is. I mean, he had one play in this game where he like steps up and to the right a little bit to avoid pressure because the left side of the pocket was collapsing a little bit, and then he threw an accurate deep ball touchdown to I think it was Ramel Keaton that caught it. But just in general this year, he's missed on so many of these shots, and he missed Squirrel White wide screaming open deep. He missed Chaz Nimrod again screaming open, and we were winning well enough to put Nico in the game just to like get the backup quarterback in, get him some reps, and of course the fan like we want to see Nico throw a touchdown pass because we haven't seen it yet so far.
Of course.
And you get a 5-star quarterback. The like rated number 1 by On3, but in general over like the consensus was the number 2 quarterback in the country. I think the number 2 player in the country, period. But the number 2 quarterback behind only Arch Manning, who received a perfect score as a prospect. So, can't do a whole lot worse than, or can't do a whole lot better than Arch Manning. So,
Did Arch
number-
Manning deserve?
I think if Nico's last name wasn't Iamaliava, even if it wasn't Manning, if it was just easier to pronounce, he might have been the number 1 quarterback in the country. But whatever, that's my biased Vols fan takes. But regardless,
I mean,
wanna
I've heard
see-
the take that if Manning
wasn't Manning.
wasn't Manning,
He'd be a
he'd be
4-star.
4.
Yeah.
He's still a good, he's
He's
still a
a,
good prospect.
he was a
but-
good prospect regardless, but I mean, and I think he'd still be a 5-star, but he maybe wouldn't be number 1 if his last name was like Hubert. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, if he was fucking Arch
Hubert,
Avillion.
hey, what are you trying to say?
First ever 6-star quarterback.
Yeah, okay, that's more like it. But
It's all love.
either way, we want to see Nico throw a touchdown, right? And just like we're like running the ball constantly, and then we're not setting them up very well on these passing plays, and it's like the crowd chants. Like they were chanting like throw the ball or something like late in the game because Nico had the ball. Like we were on offense, and they were chanting like throw the ball, because they want to see Nico throw a touchdown pass. And dude, I want to see that shit live when
Of
Nico
course.
gets his first one because he's the future, right? Like that was always the goal. What's my cat doing right now? That was always the goal. Is that this year is Joe Milton's course last year in college, so this is his swan song. Give Nico 1 year to develop in the offensive system, and then let him start for ideally 2 years, and he's good enough to go to the league. But if he wants to stay longer, I wouldn't complain. But that was always the idea, is that Nico, sits for a year, but like I still want to when we're winning enough for him to get in the game, like throw the fucking ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Joe Milton had 7 touchdowns in just playing in mop-up duty last year. 7 touchdowns and just coming in to be like when we were blowing people out. Let Nico throw. Let
Yeah.
him throw. I want to see
Just
it.
get those
Everybody wants to
reps.
see it. And like like it has to happen at home because the
Mm.
crowd is going to go insane.
Crazy.
Because Nayland is already one of the like consistently the loudest state because it's got 101,000 people in it every single week because it's always sold out. When Nico throws his first career touchdown pass, it doesn't matter who it's to. It can be a 1 yard like quick slant, whatever. It doesn't even have to be like. Of course, if it was a deep ball, it'd be better. But like,
Yeah.
hi
Oh,
Kitty, hi Kitty, hi buddy. But like, if he slings it like 50 yards to Caleb Webb or whatever, right? Like the crowd is going to be insane. I need to see it.
dude, your cat looks fucking great. Like with that, like up against the light like that. Well,
He's
not
so
anymore.
beautiful. Hi
When he
buddy.
when he was on the other side of it and
Hi
just was like
buddy. Come
he
here,
was
baby.
majestic.
Come here. Come here,
Any
baby.
other college
No,
football stuff you want to talk
not
about?
much. I think what do you call it? Bama beat Ole Miss with a lot of all the money was on Ole Miss to win this game. They didn't. Um, any other crazy upsets this week that I'm blanking on? Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome. Come here. Okay, I have my cat now. Not a whole lot. I didn't really watch a whole lot of games this week. I don't think.
Just want to move on to
Oh yeah. Oh,
the top
Colorado
three?
got their shit kicked in. I guess that's the only.
Yeah,
Like,
but like
but I mean, I expected Oregon to win that game, so it's not really
Yeah.
like I didn't know they would by that much, but I knew Oregon would win.
right.
But yeah, moving on.
For the top three.
Comfort foods is the
So this
topic
one
of
is
the week.
your idea.
Yes.
Um, comfort foods is an interesting one.
No, there's no like criteria for this. It's just any whatever you
For
want. It can
me-
be restaurant food. It can be something you make at home or something.
I
your
think I'm
mom
going to be
made
going
or-
off of like growing up what I would have at home.
That's kind of what I
would
was-
and not
that's-
even just like, and I'm thinking more of like, not even meals,
Hi, baby.
just like what I would whip up myself.
Yep.
Like after, like when I got home from school.
Yep.
What am I whipping up right as I get off the bus?
Yep.
Do you want me to start us off?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So for me, it's definitely I'm just gonna do chips, and I'm just gonna combine it all here because it's very
Okay.
similar chips and dip in this stuff of just queso, guac, and salsa
Yep.
under one. That would always be one because salsa was probably one of the first things my mom showed me how to make.
Yep.
And then guac as well is another one, probably one quick one. And cake, all
Yeah.
pretty much those three things are quick things that she did show me how to make.
Yep.
So I would come home, whip those things up, eat them. The other one that I would do a lot when I'd come home off the bus was popcorn.
Yep.
Throw a bag of popcorn in, eat it. It became a ritual where I would come back, pop popcorn. So I was eating corn tortilla chips and popcorn.
Yep.
And then later in life, I've always had stomach issues. I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Hey, stay away from corn." And it's just like,
Son of a bitch.
oh, that's why my stomach hates me. It's all I would eat.
Yeah.
And then I think for my third and final one, I'm tossing two around in my head.
Yeah.
I think ultimately I'm gonna go with it's gonna be a meal here.
Yep.
My mom's meatloaf, which I think she learned from my grandma, but on my dad's side.
Yep.
Meatloaf is one of the things where it's like if you don't like meatloaf, you haven't had my meatloaf type of thing. Where
Yep.
it's one of those. And I fucking love my mother's meatloaf. It's great with mashed potatoes, and I always grab cheese sticks anytime we have mashed potatoes, and I would dip the cheese sticks in the mashed potatoes and eat them. So that was probably my what I would look forward to my mother cooking the most. So I think that's gonna round off my
Yeah.
my top three for comfort foods.
Yep. All right. Well, I've got a similar vein here, and I'm gonna even go
Yeah.
with the chips and dip here as well.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pirate that one because my mom makes really good hummus and really good guac.
Mm.
So, especially with the guac, shout out my girlfriend freshman year of high school. Once told my mom that she makes pretty good guac for a white girl, and my mom didn't really know how to take that, but she said thank you. And she still thinks about that to this day. My mom's like, whenever I'm having a bad day,
Oh,
I think about the fact that I make pretty good guac for a white girl, and then I feel
I
better.
had I had a friend who told me I was. She essentially told me I was one of the good
Yeah.
ones when it came to white people,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is like, ooh,
That now that's an
don't say that.
especially like that
And I
one's
told
really
them I was
weird.
like, that's racist. And they're like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
No,
I'll take the compliment, but what you're saying is racist.
I think I understand maybe in the vein of what you're trying to convey there, but no, like
It's
hard
not
pass.
working.
Uh, but and then another one is really just any amalgam. Excuse you, my cat just attacked my mic. Any like pasta dish, you know what I mean? Any even
Oh,
just pasta by itself, but like
not a pasta guy.
it's the thing I cook for myself most often. It's something
Mm,
I ate a ton growing up because at one point my mom was working multiple jobs and like
hmm.
money wasn't always like super available all the
Right.
time. So like pasta's cheap. Even now, still you can buy like
Bulk.
of the cheaper variations of pasta, you can get a pound for $1, and
Yeah.
like that you can make multiple meals out of that for a
Mm,
dollar. Like that's good value. And like I almost always cook meat with it. I don't usually eat pasta by
yeah.
itself. Like I've got turkey or chicken or whatever with it, but like
Gotta get protein.
gotta feed gotta feed the bulk. But
I'm
like
staring at my whey protein right now. I'm cutting right now, but after Halloween,
yeah,
the bulk will commence
bulk
again.
bulk begins anew. Um, yeah. So like any kind of pasta dish. Like I like pasta and ground turkey Alfredo. Something I make for
Mm.
myself a decent amount. Like just really just in general, I love pasta. Like it's versatile. You can make a lot of different sauces with it. You can make a lot of different meats with it. Um, Sometimes I season my pasta. Like I'll eat pasta by itself, but I'll season it. Like I got options. But then the last one for me, um, any cake that my mom makes, because she
Oh,
always makes birthday cakes.
dude.
And
Yes.
this year
I
for
should have
my
I should have put some of that
this
in.
year for my birthday, she actually didn't make one on my birthday because I was helping her move on my
Hmm.
birthday. So, because she was in the rental house, but then she bought a house, so I was helping her move on my birthday. So she actually made me one a couple months later. Next time I saw her, she baked me a cake,
Oh, that's sweet.
and she makes like this apple cake, which is what she made this year for my birthday. She makes this apple cake, and she makes like this like caramel glaze to put around the outside of it as well. It's so good. It
Mm.
comes out so good every time she does it. And but in general, like all throughout my childhood, like every year for our birthdays, like whatever cake you want, like
Yeah,
like tell me,
that's
describe
what
exactly how you want it to be. She'd make it that way. My brother
that's
one
how
year
yeah.
wanted tres leches. That's what she made for him that year. She made, I think he wanted that a couple of years in a row. But like, occasionally, like if I wanted like a layer cake with like, this I want this, but this other one I want
Mm.
this. Like she would do something with it, and like she would get creative with it at times, and like they always came out so good. Like my mom's just a great cook. She's a great baker. Like she's awesome, right? I fucking love my mom, man.
Shout
But
out to Mama Jacob.
yes, that's her name, Mama Jacob.
Mama Jacob.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
when when we lived in when my family lived in
hey,
Bahrain,
baby. Yep.
my the the community there is like pretty close. Like
Mhm.
on the like the military like family community is pretty
Yep.
close there. So my mom started like selling her baked goods to
Nice.
everyone. She became known as the cake lady.
Oh.
But yeah, but and my mom would do the same thing. We would just ask her like she stopped whenever because eventually because she used to not work and then she started working and then she started working a lot. So she hasn't done it in a while, but she would ask like, "What do you wanted for your cake?" And I would usually go with a cookie cake,
Yep.
double layer too. Oh my
Hell
god,
yeah.
I fucking oh my god, her cookie cakes were so fucking good. Oh,
Fuck yeah, man.
and I don't know what's gonna happen for my birthday this year, It's very likely that I'll be in South Carolina as my sister gives birth to my nephew. But now I kind of want a cookie cake this year.
You'd have to get with your mom on that one.
Yeah, it won't happen because we'll be not at our house.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Baby.
Do you want to move on to what we're
What we're
consuming?
on. What
What
are
we're
we
on?
on? So, yeah, I got a couple things here. When I listened to Mitski's new album, and it was really good. So shout out Mitski. I do like me some Mitski. I like art pop.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like my favorite genre, but it's one that I've been getting into more. Like Caroline Polachek released an album earlier this year that I really liked as well. So it's something I've gotten into. But then I've also been listening to getting into Modest Mouse's discography, and I'm liking it quite a lot. And I started watching Ahsoka as well. I caught up completely on the first 6 episodes. I watched episode 7 last night, and I don't love it, but I definitely like it. And I certainly like it
Okay.
more than Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan it's called Kenobi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
You did
Again,
like Kenobi?
liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, liked.
I I got
But it just
there was too
with
much that took me
Kenobi.
out of that show, but
With Kenobi, it was just like it did become apparent, like, oh, this was originally planned to be a movie.
and it really should have been.
Mm.
The budget, the quality of the visuals was not
But
up
there's
to
just a couple
par.
scenes where I'm like, okay, this is a cool scene.
Yes, but even
So it
then, the best
elevates.
scene in that show was borrowed completely from Star Wars Rebels.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yes,
wasn't it different sides of the helmet as well, though?
I, I mean, in terms of like thematically, like what happens, it is literally like beat for beat the
Yeah, I've
same
seen that.
scene,
But I think
and
I think it's cool. Then I saw people talk about like it was this side of the helmet with Ahsoka,
yeah,
and then it was this side of the helmet
yeah, it was
for
different sides of
Kenobi,
the
and but it,
yes.
it took it took Luke to remove both.
That's cool. Like
No,
that's there's symbolism
and
there.
just that scene where he's just coming in and out of the Vader voice,
Yeah.
that shit hit.
No, it did. Like especially
That shit hit.
hearing Hayden's voice as
Yeah,
well as James Earl Jones. Like
yeah.
that was fucking awesome. And speaking of, I
You
mean,
did not kill him.
minor
I
spoiler
did.
here. So I don't know. I guess skip ahead like a minute or two. But have you seen Ahsoka?
No, but I'm behind on the Star Wars stuff, and
Okay.
I don't care at this
Okay.
point.
Well, Hayden's
I'm
in
I'm
this
really getting
too.
burnt out with Disney
I am as well. But
owning Star Wars.
Hayden Christensen is also in this.
Mm,
As like a not necessarily a force ghost, like he's almost like a like she went to like the world between worlds, and like
mm.
Anakin was there because like she almost dies at some point in the show, and then like they go through like some Clone Wars flashbacks or whatever, and it's interesting stuff. But all overall, like the script in this show is pretty cringe. And like the reunion between Ezra and Sabine, like they haven't seen each other in a decade, and there's like no emotion when they see each other again. And it's like, well, that's fucking lame. But overall, like I think it's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
just there's some moments that take me out, or like some dialogue where I'm like, "Oh, that's lame." But
yeah,
overall, I'm enjoying myself, and it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's good enough to where I'm interested in watching, and I'll watch the finale when it comes out next week. Loki season 2 comes out next week.
I fell out of the Disney Plus shows, but I will be tuning back into that one.
Yes, I really liked Loki. That was my favorite show they've done so far. Season 2 starts October 5th. So,
Mm,
ow, ow, you're biting a little hard, buddy. I think it's Thursday. This is October 5th. I think it's a Thursday next week.
yeah.
Oh, baby, seriously? My cat's going nuts right now on my fingers.
So what else? Anything else you've been on?
No, I think that's about it. If I remember something, I'll let you know. But you go ahead and you tell us what you're on.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Today I watched Bumblebee, the
Hell yeah.
one with Haley Steinfeld.
Is it the first time you've
Uh,
seen it, or have you seen it before?
no, I've seen it before.
Okay.
It's just because way back when I did the Wii Vault video for the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Wii game,
Yeah.
for the video I was like, well, I should probably watch the movie as well since it's a tie-in for it. So
Yeah.
I saw the first Transformers movie just so because I feel weird if I didn't.
Yeah. It feels weird.
So then I
jumping
just
into
ended
the
up
sequel.
I ended up just watching
All of
through
them.
them all,
Yeah.
and I've already seen Beast. What do they call it?
Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which I liked. But yeah, so I
Yeah,
watched
I feel pretty
Bumblebee
positively
today.
about that one too.
I like the new direction the Transformers has been under with the previous two
Yep.
of Stein, the Bumblebee and then Rise of the Beast.
Yep.
So
Ow,
there's been
baby.
that. Trying to think what else I've been on. Uh, Still watching Freaks and Geeks, and it's just the
Nice.
reason it's taken me so long is because normally, like if I want to watch a show, always like to do something else while I watch it. But since I'm gonna make a video out of it, I'm like I gotta like really focus. So I haven't like binged it.
Yeah.
Um, I'll rewatch it again while I write up the script because right now I'm just watching it. I'll rewatch it as I'm writing up the script, and that one because right now I'm taking notes for things
Yeah.
I notice. I guess most interesting thing recently is very young Shia LaBeouf in that show.
Very young Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
he's the
god.
mascot. He's the
Have
mascot who
you
gets hurt.
have you ever seen actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, fucking
Oh
love
my
that one.
goodness.
And
Incredible.
also speaking of Shia, if you ever have the time,
Yeah.
listen to the podcast that John Bernthal has
Yeah.
with Shia LaBeouf on it. It's really good.
How?
They get very, very real, very open and genuine, very
Awesome.
serious conversations. It's great
Yeah.
to hear.
I like
Just
listening to Bernthal talk like outside of,
yeah,
his acting
just
career. Like he's just a good guy. Like,
yeah, it's just very open about men's mental health,
yeah.
and also like if your brother messes up, don't just shun him. Like
Yeah.
reprimand him for the wrong that he has done, but
Yeah.
continue
Support your
to
guy,
help him
yeah.
move forward. And that
Well,
was kind of the big sentiment of it, which I loved.
I liked what he said about method acting as well, where he said he viewed it as mostly pretentious because like you never
Mm,
see somebody doing it like, if you're playing a character that's supposed to be like really kind to everybody, you don't see somebody then like outside of production like going around baking something for their whoever's next to them, or
yeah,
do like just basically just doing nice stuff. You see like Jared Leto sending Margot Robbie a dead mouse or whatever,
yeah.
when you're playing the Joker, but like you never
That's
see method acting for like
Mother
other like
Teresa.
positive types of characters, and I'm like that's a fair point because you really only ever see it as like an excuse to be an asshole for the
Either an
most part.
asshole or just like an
Deranged.
inconvenience
Yeah.
where it's like they're disabled, so they're disabled offset,
Yeah.
and it's just like that. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
great point. Yeah, Bernthal, good dude.
Yeah.
I would love for him to come back as Punisher, but it'd have to be done right.
Ow. Ow. Baby. Seriously? Sorry, my cat's going nuts. Yeah, I'm with you. Like maybe we see a cameo in the new Daredevil show that's coming out
Mm,
eventually, but like you said, it would
yeah,
have to be done right.
I guess we'll have to see how much they let Deadpool loose,
Yeah.
and it's a different type of like rated R-ness, but just seeing just how willing Disney is to let Deadpool loose
Yeah.
might let us know of like if they could do Punisher or not.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, I haven't really been on anything new, anything different from last week.
Yeah, I plan on
Um,
watching some more movies within the next week or two, so I think I might have more to report next week.
I think we still need to watch, but the one Gabe recommended.
The Hunt is what he ended up going with, right?
Yeah,
I've been meaning
yeah,
to watch it, but I've been napping almost all week after getting home
yeah.
from work
So
because I've just been super tired.
let's promise right now
I'll watch The Hunt
to
tomorrow.
watch it. It doesn't even, yeah, I'm just gonna say promise just to watch it before
Next
this next
pod.
podcast,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk
Ow!
about it,
Fuck.
and then it'll be my turn to pick a
Yes.
movie. It's been Gabe's turn.
It's for 3 weeks
It's not
now.
his fault, but it's been
Yeah.
Gabe's turn for like
A
three
month.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not his fault.
No, it's
This
not at
time
all.
it's on us
Um.
for just not watching what he has
Yeah. And
said.
he's already watched The Hunt, so it's time for us to pick up the pace.
I was like, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, and you were like, same, and then neither of us did.
Yeah, we gotta watch it. Jesus, baby.
Yeah,
Ow! Fuck. Goodness
yeah.
gracious.
I'll probably watch it while I'm here at my grandparents because I pretty much
Yeah.
just have to wake up, quickly deal with the animals. There's not
Yeah.
much to do. It's really simple. Just
Yeah.
make sure they're watered. That's where actually really that's it. And then I have the rest of the day.
They have
But
like
I still have
feeders
to.
and whatnot. You don't have to feed them.
They kind of just graze.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess
There
they're
is if
farm animals. Yeah.
Yeah, if they come up to the pen, there is feed I'll give them, but
Okay.
they're grazing in a neighbor's spot that's letting us use them, so
Yeah.
they're not over here right now. Actually, I have to like really walk a good distance to go get to them. But I
Gotcha.
saw them today,
Okay.
real nice. But yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it. I need to eat dinner. It's 1:30.
Yeah, I need to. I don't know.
Yeah. I need to go eat something there. But
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I'll give you a big gift if you've made it this far. And that was also for you, Brayden.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. So yeah, have a good rest of your day or evening or night or whatever, whenever you're watching this, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Adios.